Okay, everyone, welcome to another Vicenza Cougar podcast. I have a new group of great friends. You'll find the Johnson sisters, Mr. Bobby Walsh and Chris Camera in here.
Woo!
Hello.
Hello. Hello.
We were not telling each other that it was required to bring Vicenza paraphernalia, but we decided it was a good idea and the only time we'd ever pull it out of a dustbin and share it. So
hey, I'm just Cherie. I wear this every Halloween. I work in an elementary school and I always come as the 80s. So I wear this once a year.
it is scary saying the 80s, isn't it?
I know.
All right, so right here we've got 1986 with me and Chris. Bobby's 87. Christy's 88. And Sean, are you 89?
No, I'm not even 50 yet.
But you're 89.
Yes, I'm 89.
All right, so we've covered a lot of ground.
Was that for the math teachers that we have at Vicenza, or you're just trying to show them you still got it?
No. I'm just we're just getting our bearings. I've been watching a lot of these with a lot of people that I don't even know. So knowing the years helps me.
All right, we'll put them in buckets for you. So, yeah, I mean, first, thank you guys for coming and joining and being a part of this. We had a good crew. There were many times, Bobby and I, a lot of sports, even Chris and I mean, even further back in time playing baseball together and now, you know, even band. I mean, the trombone in the background that I'm looking at.
Is that your high school trombone?
Awesome. Yeah, my wife put it up years ago. It'd been sitting in the attic for years, and she didn't even know I played. Of course, I hadn't played since my junior year of high school. I didn't play my senior year. And when we bought this house about 4 years ago, she decided to put it up on the wall. And I even, gosh, it's tarnished, but I cleaned it about 6 months ago, and it just immediately gets dirty.
I love it. It looks great up there. Are you going to play it for us?
No.
I think so. I mean, do think so.
Get the drink on. We'll make this into a drinking.
Cherie probably has her.
And I forgot, Sean,
I do.
you
I
played
have
trumpet.
2 flutes and a piccolo.
That's right. And you played.
That's
Well, you never played the band. So.
Wait. Christy, did you play?
Sadly, I played in middle school and did not really advance.
Okay. Bobby, you were not in band camp, right?
I did not. I made fun of the kids in band camp.
Which is not nice.
The other three of us, we got to enjoy Mr. DeMasso. We got to with jazz band and all that good stuff. Well, wait a second. I before we go jumping in and such, Chris, why don't you show us what you've been working out, but you still fit into the jersey there? What do you got there?
It's first of all, this wasn't my jersey.
Look at that.
Whoever has number 20, if you want it, let me know and I'll send it to you. I think Bobby gave this to me back in Cherie and I came to visit in 1987, December. I think Bobby gave it to me then, and I just held on to it. I wore number 16, and then there's a story to that later on for a game story. That's kind of funny.
All right, good. And Christy, what do you got there? You're showing your.
I am showing the letter jacket that belongs to Bobby. I also have our class rings.
Nice.
And mine. And an authentic vintage Vicenza pom-pom.
Nice. Excellent. Bobby, you were saying that your medals and badges have started to disappear, or your memories disappeared. You're not.
You know, we were pretty successful at Vicenza. We won a lot of the championships, but over the years, you can see.
It doesn't look like he was very good.
It doesn't look like I was very good. They keep dropping off.
Mine looks the same way.
I don't know what happened to mine. Probably.
You don't have one.
Yeah, no idea. So, and then Bobby, what do you got on there? You've got some.
I've got my Forza Italia.
It's upside down.
What's upside down?
Rossonieri.
Lande Rossi.
Oh, y'all sound good.
I've got my seat cushion.
Nice.
Wow.
And my Inter headband.
Man, that's like.
What is on your head?
Inter for soccer. Milan.
Okay.
Sounds like an American English type word there. Inter.
Yeah.
Inter.
So tell me about the Vicenza Lanerossi stuff. What was that? You, Mr. Ritchie, going off to a game?
Yeah, I mean, we used to go to games all the time. I mean, that's one of my favorite memories is going to going to see soccer games. And when we were over there, Sean, I mean, Maradona was playing.
Yes.
Ruud Gullit, Van Basten. So
Yes.
I mean, it was awesome just going to those games and being in the States and being a soccer player. Going to Italy was just I missed the World Cup because the World Cup I got there a year after Italy won the World Cup, and it was just a great experience going and going to the games was unbelievable because I'm kind of a shy, reserved, but you go to an Italian soccer game, people next to you are wrapping their arms around you, you're singing songs, or you're weaving and going back and forth. It's just a great experience, and those are things I really miss.
Yeah, they were. I have actually never been to an Italian soccer game.
What?
Oh, you're kidding me, Sean?
No. I mean, I played against Italians a million times or whatever, with Italians, but I never went to like the Lanerossi. I just I don't know. I don't think that's where my dad would necessarily want to go catch a game. He'd rather be on the base at the gym or something.
The basketball game, yeah. Soccer wasn't his thing. Basketball and baseball and all that.
Yeah, Sean, I have to tell you that every time Bobby talks to our girls about the report cards, he's like, listen, girls, I don't know if you know this or not, but I made straight A's in PE. Mr. Dempsey, I think you were in his class like 3 periods in a row. So he loved your dad.
Yeah.
That's too
he always told me to leave to go read a book or something I needed to study.
It's funny you say that because I think someone on another podcast made a comment of similar nature saying, your dad gave me a C or something like that. And I'm like, that means you didn't dress out. So don't dress out for PE. I mean, what do you think you deserve? Yeah. Anyway.
Hey, but I did graduate in the top 50 in my class, so that's positive.
I think we all did.
Yeah, exactly. We all did. I hope that's not on the resume. So geographically, I'm up in Boston, so we're all East Coast, right?
Yeah.
Virginia, is that right? Is that where you guys are, Bobby?
Yeah, we live in Fredericksburg, Virginia.
All right. And then you guys are further south down in Georgia, right?
Yeah, we're in Atlanta.
Okay. All right. So let's keep going around here with the paraphernalia because this thing's getting scratchy, itchy. I did buy it on Amazon, probably made in China, and it just felt like a good thing to do in a Vicenza reunion podcast. So, Cherie, what do you got cooking over there? Show and tell.
So I have my Cinquecento that I'm so proud of. I used to always think that this coin was so pretty, and so my mom had it made I think a couple of years ago for me as a necklace, obviously. And I every time I put it on, I'm like, does anybody think it's weird that I'm wearing a quarter? But nobody knows. But then on one of the other podcasts that I was watching, because I've watched, I think, almost all of them, there were a bunch of girls I didn't know, but they were talking about how they had a jetone dipped in gold. And I'm like, they're wearing a phone token. Like, I mean, I can wear a quarter.
Hold on. We have one of those.
Shut up.
Yeah, we do. Where's the camera? We don't
dipped in gold.
Yeah,
I need that dipped in gold.
Bring it close.
I think it was
I would like it dipped in silver. Look at that.
There's a
You got one phone call, Bobby Walsh.
Yep.
Yeah.
Put that in your phone. Sure. All right.
Oh, and the other thing that I wanted to show you, the other thing, so all the podcasts, everybody ends up talking about summer hire, right? And I was very proud of my job. I loved my job. I was a telephone operator. And when I think about it now, I don't think I could have done it for more than a summer because you were like right when you came in, you were stuffed in a building to the left, right when you came through the gate. And I think y'all said the gate isn't even there anymore, but you know what I'm talking about? That main gate, the at the front that I think is now the back. But anyway, it was there to the left, and you couldn't get in the building unless you were allowed to be there. And it was this dark, dingy room all the way at the end of a hallway And it was literally like the old timey, like, you know, how can I help you? And there was a lot of times, you know, you would have Italian, you were dialing Italian people. So I had to have my I at least had to have my numbers. But anyway, summer hire, had my money, and, you know, we had to save most of it for school or whatever. But my mother said, okay, we can buy one thing. I saved all that summer hire money. My mother went, I can see the store. It was past the Benetton store and it was down on the corner. I spent a ridiculous amount of money. My mother made me. I was cheap and I saved everything, and I tried to wear all of Christy's clothes and she wouldn't let me because she was mean. I bought a pair of boots that everybody was wearing, and I have them on right now. Huh?
I said I never would have wanted to borrow them. They were just for you.
Like 130,000 lira, and I'm pretty sure that's exactly how much they were. And I was like, no, Mama. And she's like, you are going to buy these. And so I still have them, and unlike clothing, they fit. So I'm wearing them, but I can't. I'm gonna take them off my foot. But do y'all remember these?
I remember
shoes?
those.
That, like, you know, they're cut out so you can see your leg. I call them my stormtrooper boots. And I did wear them to college, and they were a conversation piece.
I can imagine.
Now I'm putting them back on.
Girl with those boots.
Valdosta wasn't ready for those.
No, who is that weird girl with her boots?
I had the same feeling though. I mean, after Vicenza, I went to Munich, Germany, a metropolis, European. Spent 2 years there, and then I went to a school in the sticks up in northern New Hampshire, Division III school. Great place. I think most places are great. I mean, I hope you know you have a good time and all, but I really stuck out like a sore thumb with my clothing. I really did not fit in. I did not have flannel boots, and you know, and I didn't like the beer, which was not really any good. So I'm like, I've got to fit in here. I got to kind of change. I'm like wearing like metropolis, metrosexual, you know, like
Yes.
stuff, and I'm like, this is just regular wear. So I'm like, okay, I got to go to the store and buy some stuff. So it was probably like a Walmart or something, and I just bought some stuff to fit in. I was like, okay, this works. Anyway, all right, I think we covered all our paraphernalia as it started to shed. Chris, if you need to step out because that thing's burning you up, you feel free to do so.
Thank you, I will. I'm going to get a drink too.
All right. So this is too much fun. So Cherie, you've been watching the other podcasts, and you finding the stories to be, tell me which ones hit you the most? Like, what's been catching you?
I mean, I think I really enjoyed like listening to the Goldsteins. I mean, you know, I think anytime you're there with some family, it's easy for the conversation to flow. And so they were cracking me up, and I don't remember them being like, as talkative, you know, way back when. And I have to say, I mean, I said it to Bobby earlier today. I was like, I don't remember what I was like. I hope I was kind. But beyond that, I don't remember. I'm having a hard time remembering, and it makes me feel better to see some of the other folks on the call that are struggling. Ralph. I watched Ralph, and I sat there and looked at Ralph, and I was like, I know him. His face looks so familiar to me. So it helps to see like the old pictures, so that, because, you know, you're sitting there with your yearbook trying to figure out who they were. Obviously, we all know the Radcliffes. Even Bobby that didn't know them knew them. So I watched that last night.
Okay.
Claudia.
Yep.
I was
Claudia.
You know, I was waiting for that one.
Yeah.
She looks exactly the same.
Yeah. So do you guys.
Was it Christy? We watched Christy
Clegg.
Which they said nobody's name is the same. So
I know.
Yeah. Use whichever name you remember.
Yeah. And I'm always trying to screw it up. But yeah. So, but I've watched almost every one of them.
Yeah. I honestly haven't watched all of them. I've watched a good handful of them, and it's fun. You do get a kick out of it.
Even the people that you don't really know, like who was the guy?
Derek.
I don't know Derek. I don't remember him, but I feel like if you live there and you went to high school, like we just shared a lot of the same experiences. And like our girls do not have the same experience that we did. I mean, you guys were allowed to do a lot more things than Cherie and I were. Like we were talking about it earlier. Like our parents were like, okay, Friday and Saturday, you have to choose one night that you're going out with your friends, and we need 24 hours advance notice of what you're doing and who you're going with. And we were like, oh my God.
And I never planned, so it was always hard.
I know. And I remember wishing we lived in Bellagio because we were missing everything. And now I'm watching the damn podcast. I'm like, well, yes, we were missing it all. Like we actually were. I was like, I don't remember that. Where's the cornfield? Why is everyone talking about a cornfield?
Some stories.
You didn't live in Bellagio.
Well, I lived in Bellagio, and it was tough because in the court, everyone in my court, it was the McDonald's, the McKays, the Rokuses, Mark Dickey, the Dailies, Heather Van Gorder. I mean, there was so many people that went to school with us, lived in that court. And then, like Sean, like you guys would ride your bikes 4 miles to come there. So when things were going on, you really couldn't say, I don't really want to do anything because people biked 4 miles to see you guys. So you always had to do stuff, and like there was always something going on. It was a great place to live. And me and Christy talked about all the time is, we have pretty good careers and stuff now, but I never had more money and did more things when I was in Vicenza. I mean, I was just amazed that we get on the train, we go eat great food, do different things, and money was never an issue because everything was just so cheap. It was unbelievable.
Yeah, there was a snippet in one of the football ones where Mr. Draculich commented about taking the team to go to a museum, and it was 200 lira, which was like 10 cents.
Yeah.
But saying 200 lira just hit me like, oh man. And like, I don't know if I've got 200 lira, But that's awesome. Going back to those moments. So thanks, Cherie, for thinking about that. What about you, Chris? Have you seen any of the podcasts?
I have. Goldstein Brothers. Watched a little bit of the Dinges Brothers.
Oh yeah, I forgot about David Dinges. I watched that too.
Yeah, and a couple the Ratcliffe Brothers, which was great. A little bit of Steffo and Dina.
Oh yeah.
They've been great.
That was really a lot of fun watching that one.
I didn't know that Steffo, when he said he unscrewed all of anything that had a screw in it from the train and threw it off of the train, I was a little bit shocked. Yeah.
It wasn't just him though. He's inculpating a few others too.
I don't think he exposed them. Did he? Did he expose them? He did talk about Eric Simpson. Yeah, we're trying to be very careful. Like Bobby has some stories, and Chris, he's got stories that he won't tell me that he's about to tell. I have no idea, but I did provide an outline of topics.
Sean, last night, Cherie said, listen, I have typed up a few notes. I'm going to email them to y'all just so we can have a flow and so we don't forget anything. And I'm like, Cherie, I am not reading your notes. I don't have any ink in my printer. We're not printing them out. I'm sure hers are printed out and she is following them as close as she can.
Sean, it was kind of like we were in Mr. Hakeem's World Lit class where you had the oral reports and Cherie would give you exactly what you had to say.
I love it.
Y'all, that class terrorized me. that class terrorized me. World Lit?
How?
Well, first of all, nobody in high school wants to be talking like in front of the class.
I don't mind.
You specifically do not want to be talking in front of the class on a day that you did not expect to be talking in front of the class. And he required, he had that list of books. You had your teams or your group, and he didn't follow the rules. If they were not there or they were not ready, he would skip and go to the next person. I'm like, wait, I'm ready tomorrow. I'm not ready today. I'm not ready today. I will never forget. And they wrote it up in the yearbook. I will never forget. We had Homer's Odyssey. That was a big ass book. Yeah. And my job was to tell the story. And my group was not ready. And I wish I could remember who was in my group, but they came to me wide-eyed and was like, you have to stall. I don't want to talk for 55 minutes. I talked for 3 days. They weren't ready. So every day, Chris, were you in my class?
No, yes.
Okay. I know you weren't in my group, but you were in my class. And I can't remember, was Bobby in the class?
I was in that class too. And Cherie, it was even more terrifying for people that did not read the book. Just imagine how you felt. Is my reason for when I saw it is like you always sign up for the class, so you go up to do the books. And when they did the sign up list, I would always look for Kelly McKay was in the class, and he was my good friend, and he had big ambitions. He wanted to go to Notre Dame, and so I always signed up to be on Kelly's team.
I wonder why.
And Kelly was just so great. He made sure everyone knew their line. He would give me index cards with exactly what my portion. It was like I was in heaven.
Wow.
I knew my lines. I would just say it. Well, one day, Kelly wasn't there. My whole group got called. And we're supposed to be, we're like 6 books away. So I'm like, there's no problem. Well, it kept going. I'm the only person from my group to be in the class that's actually there present. And Mr. Hakeem called me up. I didn't read the book. So I only knew my portion of what Kelly gave me. And he's like, Bob, I was like, I'll take the 0. And he's like,
heard anybody say, I will take a 0.
Yeah. And I've never seen Hakeem got so furious. He's like, get up there and tell you. And I was like, I didn't read the book. I was like, there's no way I'm embarrassing myself. I'll take the 0. And I just was so embarrassed about it. I was like, there's no way I'm getting up there because unlike Cherie, I couldn't talk for 3 days.
I didn't want to talk for 3 days.
Right.
I really thought, like, after that first 55 minutes, I'm like, okay, y'all are ready. Next day, we are not ready. You have to, I wish I could remember who it was. So if anybody's out there in podcast world and you know you were in that group, I would like you to like show yourself because I can't remember who it was. But I had to do that for 3 days.
Yeah, anyone who's in my group, I apologize for giving you the
They deserved it.
The way I learned from Hakeem was to make sure that you're always in a group, that you surround yourself with people a lot smarter than you. So it's been very beneficial for me. That's one thing I learned in group is make sure your team, don't people on your team like me on there. Make sure they're a lot smarter than you.
I remember, I don't remember groups. I do remember having to do the presentations. And I definitely did not have a problem getting up and talking about these books like they were best friends, people, just whatever, even though they were classics that had been around for hundreds of years, I didn't have a problem talking about them.
And this was before Google. We couldn't even, get the.
Yeah.
Well, I would get the Cliff Notes.
Well, yeah.
I would get the Cliff Notes to make sure I had.
So
Yeah, but I don't know if you remember, Christy, but I think we've mentioned that we had extremely overprotective parents. I think everybody on the screen will say amen. And I am aware that they are going to be watching this, but it is what it is. My dad did not want us going to the library because he thought that I thought it was a social gathering. Don't you remember, Chris? I was not even allowed to go to the library. And I remember could not wait to go to college. And I said to you, do you realize we are going to be unaccounted for? And I said, do you realize I can go to the library if I want to? I don't have to tell anybody.
That's sad on so many levels.
A geek to this day, I'm sure.
Totally.
And my dad and Mr. Dempsey were telling me, get in the library.
Yeah.
I didn't know why, but that's where it's supposed to happen.
Right.
Yeah, so my flip to that story was I was up there rambling about Iliad and the Odyssey and Homer and, saying it's a good read and just, I enjoyed the story. I didn't go into the depth. Like if I pull up like Cliff Notes or read it, I'm like, this is not the same book I read. But and Hakeem roasted me, which I appreciated. He roasted me. He's like, okay, Sean, when was this book written? And I'm like,
Really long time ago.
200 BC, I think. He's like, pick up the book and look or something. And I'm like, he's like, yeah. Do you think a book that's been around for that long might have a little more credibility than the way you're portraying it or something like that? And I was like, yeah, I think so. So
Well, I think I got the worst roasting in Mr. Hakeem's class.
oh, you think?
I do believe that I took it for the team because I don't know if y'all are, we're about to go.
To the bathroom.
Walked off. I don't know if y'all remember the no chewing gum rule.
Oh, we remember that.
Do you remember what would happen if you
You're supposed to make out
chewed
with
the
him?
gum?
Yeah.
Huh?
What?
Make out with him or kiss him or something.
He would kiss you. He there was a threat of kissing. I'm pretty sure he wouldn't be able to threaten the children that today, but
Yeah.
back then it was understood in the beginning of class, you will not chew gum in this classroom or you're going to get a big kiss planted right slap on your face. And I love to chew gum. I chewed gum. I chewed multiple pieces of gum in my mouth at all times, all day long. And I was not going to spit it out just for that one class. So every day I would go in there and I would flatten that gum and I would, put it right here. So one day I was really into the material. I was listening to what was being said. And I could taste the minty flavor of that gum, and just out of habit, the gum slid, and I just chewed, like I did not even chew it. I shoved my teeth into the gum. And at that exact moment, I locked eyes with Mr. Hakeem, and I was like, surely, and my whole face, the blood ran out of my face, and I was like, surely he doesn't know. I mean, that was subtle, right? So he started singing My Cherie Amour. And he started sauntering over. I was in the back table. He started sauntering over to me. And I was like, this is not happening. I'd rather do a book report. This is not happening. He's not really going to do this. He came up here. And I was looking at him like, this is not happening. This cannot. And he dipped me. Like, you would be if you're dancing. And he is singing this My Cherie Amour. And every time I hear that song, I think about this story. And he got right in my face, and I screamed, and he said, are you ever going to chew gum in my classroom again? And I was like, no!
Well, that's great. And to be fair to teachers, they didn't have the same framework they have now.
No.
Those things did change. So
Yeah, they did.
Anyway.
And so that's the worst thing that Cherie did in high school.
I'm sure. You guys remember Miss Ferguson? Are you kidding me?
Chris, this is you. You have to know.
What did you teach?
Physics.
Oh, I did not think
I was not in
had
physics.
Mr. Lindsay.
Surprise, I was not in physics.
I
She
had
come
Mr.
from
Lindsay.
Tampa.
Yeah, she was like a sweet old lady.
Yeah, she was Wade Boggs' teacher back in
I
in the
do
day.
remember that story. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, physics.
You don't remember?
Yeah.
But y'all, I
That's what we
had
know. Wade Boggs.
wait, but I had Mr. Lindsay for physics.
Yeah.
I thought he was chemistry.
No, he was physics.
Physics.
And computer science.
And that's all I was
That's Mr. Oh no,
Yeah, Mr. Lindsay.
I can see the
I
name.
have some yearbooks if we need to look it up.
Yeah,
Who are you thinking about?
I'm thinking of Mr. Crowley for computer science. But maybe he hit.
Well, this is my freshman year, so maybe they switched later on.
Yeah. So, all right. So that was fun. We've kind of hit on Mr. Hakeem's class. And
Well, there's Mr. Martin. Did y'all have Mr. Martin?
Sooner. Yes, he just came on Facebook recently. I mean,
Oh, I saw you said somebody said that in a podcast. I had Mr. Martin for calculus. There were 3 of us in that class. There was me, and the McKays, Kevin and Kelly. And on Fridays, guess what? The soccer team traveled. And I went to class by myself.
And cross country. They did cross country too, the McKays.
So they were gone a lot.
They were gone a lot. Yeah, they played too.
Together.
Smart. Get out of class.
I want to see the McKays. Now I think I'm Facebook friends with both of them, but they're not on there very much.
Right. Maybe this will be the podcast that's the catalyst. We'll be.
I've written a bunch of names though, so don't let me not say anybody else's name.
All right, we won't. We'll make sure you get them. But I mean,
it's on our syllabus. Don't worry, you won't forget.
Yeah. Have we checked anything off the list?
Yes.
Yeah,
We have.
Okay.
we have.
I know that. I mean, it was nice of Steffo to throw a shout out to me about soccer. That was nice. When I saw that in there, I was like, oh, cool. But I mean, and for me, soccer, the 4 years, it's got different genres of people. So, I mean, Bobby, the pictures you guys shared bring back a lot of memories all of a sudden. So we'll definitely hop into those. I think we should.
Yeah, we should. Those were some pretty great moments. I mean,
Yeah.
we had a lot of good friends and a lot of good talent on the team.
Yeah, you said we had a lot of championships. I'm like,
No, that was the one sport we did not do. We lost in the championship both years to OSR by 1-0 and 2-1.
Is that soccer y'all talking about?
Yeah.
But to be fair, we played against some incredible talent. Like the way they beat us was just so good. It was just like incredible skillsmanship and craftsmanship. It was just like,
Well, talent wise, I mean, they were far more superior than us.
They were loaded.
They were loaded. But we had a great. I mean, as a team, I mean, we had a lot of. We all meshed together as a team. It was great because everyone played together. No one really cared who got the glory or anything like that. It was just we all worked together. I mean, it was very. And Mr. Ritchie, you know, he was. Me and him didn't always see eye to eye because he was very conservative, and I was kind of a little bit not conservative. And
tell the story because I'm not.
In what way?
You don't remember that? Is when I went to Italy, I mean, I wanted to be a sweeper, and I used to push everyone up, and I would go all the way up, try to score goals. And Mr. Ritchie, it would drive him crazy because Italy, he was defensive. The sweeper never gets back, and so I mean, I was really ticked my junior year. As we played and we played in that league where Kevin McKay kind of ran the league, and we kind of had our starting lineup. But when Mr. Ritchie did the lineup, we got our jerseys that year, and I got number 2. Mr. Ritchie did it by positions, and I was like, number 2. I mean, like this is like not a very glory position, and I was ticked, and and then he finally we got to the games and everything, and. I was sitting there. I finally went and talked to him. He's like, "Hey, Bob, you're too risky. You take too many chances. I don't feel comfortable with that." And so I was like, "Oh, you think I'm risky now?" So then we started scrimmaging. I was playing right back. I went up every single chance I had, and then finally Mr. Ritchie's like, "You're not playing defense anymore." He put me up at forward. He goes, "Do whatever you want." So it worked out pretty good. It was pretty fun.
Yeah, I mean, one of the recaps I remember is the stat was they'd have like 2 shots on our goal, any team you could pick out of a hat, and we'd have like 50 shots on their goal.
Yeah,
that's pretty much how the games went. Mm-hmm. The score would be 2-1.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
So you didn't play soccer, did you?
No.
It was basketball.
Football, basketball, and baseball. Yeah.
Oh, it was football too.
In the spring, he was relaxing, getting ready for baseball.
I loved going to the soccer games and Bobby was right. You guys had a ton of talent, and they were really fun to watch. Great matches all the time.
Yeah, and we all got along, which was amazing. Like if someone took someone out, I mean, we had some pretty bad guys. I mean, they're pretty tough guys like Marka. Alan McIntyre, Mike Jeffries. So if someone took you out, you know, they'd be pushing them, taking them down the field, like, you know, going after. So you always had people that had your back. I mean, it was amazing. And, you know, Sam Adams, and it was funny when I was watching the Goldsteins, is, you know, when they're talking about Jonathan Goldstein. Jonathan, it always cracked me up because he wasn't very athletic, you know, doing it, but no one ever got by him. He was so smart. He was always, you know, you sit there and he was. But I remember that game in Aviano when the planes were going by, and Jonathan was just and I just remember Sam Adams just chewing him out, like, what the heck are you doing?
Yeah.
And looking at the planes.
Yeah, it was so funny that and Jonathan was just so smart and did it, but like that day he was just, every time a plane went over, we're like, oh my gosh, hopefully the ball doesn't go to his side.
Watch the guy, not the plane. Yeah, and he would be like, he could tell you everything about the plane, like the turbine engine, gear, class, model, whatever. And like,
and look at him now. It obviously served him
well. It all worked out great for him.
Yeah. Was he a center back?
He played right back.
Oh, okay.
He played right back. Then you were stopper. Sam was sweeper.
Yeah.
Jeffries was left back.
Yeah.
And then Alan McIntyre was a half midfielder. Steffo was a midfielder. And Kelly McKay was a midfielder. And then me, Kevin McKay, and Steffo. Right? No, Steffo played center mid. Steffo played center mid. Yeah, and Mark Dickey. Mark Dickey was up.
Yeah. I'll bring up I can bring up those pictures in a split second. May as well do that. Why don't we just let me find them. Let's do that. We'll kind of transition over here to photo land. Let me let's see here. You guys sent me some pics.
Yes, we did.
I'm gonna try to I'm not gonna bounce around. I'm just gonna go to, you know, all of them. So, and we'll bounce around to whatever the topics are here. So what's this? This looks like your wedding.
That's Cherie and Chris at
Let's see the prom.
That's prom.
It is?
Was it prom or homecoming? I think it's prom.
It's prom. You can see the O Club.
Yes, it's in the Officers Club. And
thanks to Libya.
We're the prom king and queen, right?
No.
Yeah, that's our senior prom, and that was Christy wasn't supposed to be there.
Oh,
that
I
was her
there.
sophomore. That was her sophomore.
I got a date.
Mm-hmm.
It was very exciting.
Yeah. And I got in trouble for that because I was watching the World Cup. Because the World Cup was going on during the same time of that.
Now, y'all, I know nobody cares about this, but do you see my sister and her little sweet dress there?
Yeah.
I was in college.
That because she bought it for me. That's why she's saying that. But it is very cute.
Well, I'm sorry. We got our prom dresses from J.C. Penney's and had to order them in some ridiculous time frame so that they could take 5 months to, get to Italy. So when I went to college, I insisted that somebody take me to the mall so that I could look for Christy a prom dress. And I remember that dress. I remember finding that dress. And it came in this gold box from this little store called French Novelty. I went to Tallahassee, Florida to find that dress for her. And I looked at my grandfather and I said, Papa, I want her to have the gold box, but it was an odd shape, so I didn't want to fold it up, wad it up and put it in a brown box. And my grandfather took cardboard and took his pocket knife and cut a box around that gold box so that when my sister opened it up, there it would be in all its glory. I just had to say that.
I have to say, like, when you're over there, like when you get something from America, like you think, oh my God, like, look at me, this came from the mall,
Mall,
so
not JCPenney.
Yeah.
But there's Athena Daly and ChristyWalsh and one of the Goldsteins.
That's Andrew Goldstein and Mike Buckman. And Mike Buckman.
Buckman. Wow, yeah.
And Bobby.
So I want to know, why am I not standing behind my date there?
Yeah, I don't. It looks like Andrew's photo bomb.
I think this was a different prom. This was my senior prom.
I think this was Bobby's senior prom.
Oh, okay.
Christy was a junior. You would have been a sophomore.
I sent you a picture of you and Chrissy.
Yeah.
Prom too. Yeah. So this is the year before.
Okay. All right. So
That's Andrew. Andrew was just a ladies' man. Everyone wanted to be with Andrew.
is that Gregor Habsburg?
Gregor.
Is that right?
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
Right,
Oh my
right.
Gosh.
Good times.
Yes.
The boys again having a good time.
I wish I could remember where we were. Oh, this is graduation.
Yeah, this is when I graduated, top 50 in my class.
Nice look on your face, Bobby. You're looking real happy.
I was just hoping Hakeem didn't change my grade, so I would be repeating.
Thank you.
There was a piece of paper. They gave me a diploma, right?
It's not too late, right?
So funny. Now, remind me. This is you're missing one of your siblings in this, right?
Yeah, Cindy, I think, is taking the picture.
Yeah, and Bobby, did you graduate in the teatro?
I graduated. I'm not sure where I graduated, but I got my.
Was it the church next door? Was it a church?
I feel like he did not graduate the same place. I feel like yours wasn't a church.
I don't know.
Well, mine was in a church. Did he graduate in the Araceli like we did?
I
Got
feel
that.
like maybe those 2 years.
Here is mine. I graduated in the theatrical.
Okay. You did good.
Well, you'd have thought that would have been memorable. You'd have thought.
Yeah,
That's sad. We saved it.
I can't.
So sad.
Do you have yours, Chris?
I do.
Oh, gosh.
And I still have my yellow sticky. Whoever gave it to me.
What yellow
It's still
sticky?
sticking.
They used
It
to,
has his
yeah,
name
it
on
has
it.
my name on it. I'm not sure whoever did that, but
That's
Oh
funny.
wow, Bobby, you are a
Well-
old hack rat.
Hold on. Since we're talking about that, I'm going to show you what Cherie gave me for my 50th birthday this year.
Oh, do so. Show
She
that.
ordered this. Now, Cherie, you'll have to tell the story. I don't know. Can y'all see what this is?
Let me stop sharing for a sec. You can.
Oh,
There. Go ahead. Put it
did
up.
that mess you up?
No, it's fine.
Listen, I ordered this from Vicenza, Italy. It is a replica of the teatro, and you know it's dimensional
life-size.
paper art.
Yeah.
Um,
It's a shadow box.
It's a shadow box, and it has like a little light bulb in there so that she can turn it on and off. But I loved it.
Cool.
Nice. Would you say you got that not too long ago?
just
Yeah, her
Once
birthday
again.
was last month.
Yeah.
Wow. Happy birthday belated.
Thank you. Thank you.
For the last 30 years or so, but you know.
I know. All right. I'm sorry. I messed up your share screen.
No, you're fine. You're totally fine. I'm trying to remember how to share my screen. All right, that's what I want to do right there. All right. This looks like trouble.
Oh, yeah. That is a troubled group right there.
Who is the guy all the way on the right?
yeah.
Mike Jeffries.
Yeah, Mike Jeffries, Peter Ritchie. That's me, then Tom Pratt, and then Tom Stevens.
Yep.
Oh, Tom Pratt. Oh, wow.
Yeah. You know, Bobby and I saw Tom Pratt and Amy Horn. How many years ago was that? A long
That might have
time
been 15
ago.
years ago.
I think we only had one kid. That was more than 15 years
Maybe
ago.
20 years ago. Yeah. But Tom was stationed at Quantico in the
Yeah.
Marines.
And we saw them actually a couple of times. And did they have a
Yeah, they had kids around our same age.
yeah.
Yeah.
But then we lost touch with them. And I don't think they're on Facebook.
No, they're not. I mean, I think Amy created a Facebook profile, but never did anything.
Yeah.
I think they're down in Florida somewhere, but you know, moved on, I guess, and or
Yeah.
whatever. You know, maybe they'll find these pockets, or somebody will share it with them and bring them down that memory lane. Wait a second.
There you are.
Ha.
There's the prom right there. See,
Oh.
when you lived in Italy, you notice I have on the same dress. So
I was literally noticing that.
my girls would be mortified, but you see, I have a different hairpiece, so it made it all okay. And I have on a necklace this year, so I added a little bit to it. But
You
yeah,
jazzed it up.
we couldn't just buy.
Yeah.
There was no Amazon back then.
Right.
But oh yeah,
I'm wondering why my hand looks like I'm pulling Chrissy closer to me.
you're like, get over here.
Goldstein's in the background.
I'm showing ownership. Mine. Anyway, what's going on here?
Oh, this is my graduation, and I can't remember. Chrissy and I both gave a speech at graduation. One of us gave the welcome, and one of us gave the closing. And unfortunately, I think actually Bobby is getting my program.
Of course, I've got the program.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Oh yeah.
Bobby's parents save everything, and a couple of years ago their basement flooded, and so he went over and went through all of their things, which is why we have all this stuff.
That's awesome.
So did I give the opening?
You gave the reflections.
Oh, I gave the reflections on the years.
And Cherie introduced the speaker, introduction of speaker.
Yeah.
I did. It was General Dickey.
You and Claudia. I don't know why you needed two people.
You know what? I think she actually did it in Italian.
Oh, yes, you're right. You're right.
I think she translated.
Yeah, me and Chris were runner-ups for this salutatorians, right, Chris?
Oh, yeah. You're joking about the top 50. I think we had 62 in our class. I don't remember specifically 62, 63, and I was pretty much near the bottom. I think I had to get a good grade in one of my last classes. That's so sad.
Yeah, you stressed
So
me
lazy.
out.
I was lazy.
My time there.
I was lazy.
But Chris, you remember when we used to go and we go over to Christy's parents' house, and Cherie would be like studying all weekend,
Yeah.
and then you and me would get there. She's like, "Have you guys started studying?" We're like,
What's
"Not
that?"
yet." The test is on Monday. It's only Sunday at 7:00. We got plenty of
Ball game on. I gotta after the ball game. Yeah.
Yeah.
I hated homework. I hated it.
Yeah, and Cherie was so worried about us. She was more worried about us than ourselves.
Yeah.
Yeah, y'all caused me a heart palpitations.
But I have to say, look at y'all both today.
Look at y'all.
Successful, both of y'all. And I don't know if anybody knows this. It might be a little bit of a shock, but I am now a PE teacher for children.
Awesome.
That does sound funny.
That does sound funny.
And you know, Sean, that was my dream job. Is when I went to college, I wanted to be a teacher. I thought your dad had the best life. I was like,
You did.
sports, sit there. I was like, I thought that was the best life to have. So I went to be a student teach. And my first year I went to student teach, that's when they were starting to cut back all the PV programs. And then they're like, oh yeah, it took me 6 years to get a job. It took me 5 years to get a job. I was like, wait, I'm not moving back home after I graduate. So I got to change my major. So I went to the guidance counselor. I was like, I need to change my major. I had no idea what I wanted to do. And so I just remember walking to the guidance counselor in college, and they had like the best paying jobs coming out of school. I was like, I'm not smart enough to be a doctor, can't be an engineer. And they got to number 6, and I think it was accounting. I was like, I'm pretty good at math. He's like, well, you know what you want to change your major to? I was like, accounting.
I gotta say, I remember hearing about that you were an accountant, and I was like,
Yeah.
What?
And you couldn't have a more boring job to be an accountant. And it was probably the worst career change in my life. Now, it pays really well, but it's not a very entertaining and fun-filled job.
Well, you've made it fun because you managed to squeeze your sports in there, Bobby.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you have a terrible commute. You live in Fredericksburg, Virginia. You have a 2-hour commute when there's no corona to Washington, D.C. But then somehow you have figured out how to leave and go do a second job that you want to do.
Yeah, and Sean, you'll probably get a kick out of this is, I'm a high school volleyball coach now.
nice.
And I don't think many people know this is the year after I graduated, they went to 7-on-7 football, and then they started a volleyball team.
Yeah.
And Sean was a backup quarterback my senior year in high school, and he quit football to join the volleyball team. And I gave Sean such a hard time. Like, how could you quit football to go play a girls' sport?
I don't remember.
You don't remember that? I gave you.
No.
Yeah, you, Jamie Pellerito, because Jamie played football too, and then was it Tony Tallick?
Yeah.
Tony Tallick. I gave all 3 of you guys a hard time for doing that, and
And look at
20
you.
years later, I'm coaching high school girls volleyball.
You've been cursed.
Karma.
Yeah, it's kind of funny, and and I got involved in it because my daughter, I used to coach my kids all the time, so she picked a sport I knew nothing about. I think she did
On
it.
purpose.
I think she did it on purpose to get away from me.
Right.
So,
But you showed her.
well, I did show her. Is I went in and I started, hey, so we started a travel volleyball club, and we started doing that. And then we had so many kids come out, we didn't have enough coaches. And the one guy that I started the club with, he's like, hey, you coach other sports. He goes, hey, you can fake it. He goes, I'll tell you what needs to be done. Coaching is coaching, no matter what you do. So I did that, and it's pretty funny when you go about doing that. But it's funny how I gave you such a hard time, and now that's what I do.
That's what you get. That's what you get, man. Take it back. Chris, take me back. Let's go back to what was baseball last memory. If you saw the Ratcliffes, that might have brought some memories back.
Yeah, it's funny. John talked about not playing baseball in the summer, but we did play baseball in the summer. Maybe.
And softball eventually.
Yeah, I played with my dad in the 5A TAF team. So we had to play against the high school guys. It was horrible watching all my friends on the other side playing, having a good time, and I'm playing with my dad's coworkers. But that was fun too. But baseball was a blast. I miss it so much. The traveling we did with baseball. I did more traveling with baseball than any other field trips in high school, trips with parents. I think baseball, we went everywhere, Germany and everywhere in Italy. I'm so glad the Italians played baseball because we played.
You were there for the Parma trips and things.
Parma, Bologna, I wrote them all down.
Bring me back.
Oh, I'm thinking about the one night we went to Genoa, somewhere in that area, and driving along the coast.
Oh, we had
Genoa,
that guy that could throw like Dwight Gooden.
That was your dad, yeah, coached that. That was probably my second to last game.
7 weeks of Ted Williams baseball camp. I was amped.
Yeah.
We had a blast. Yeah, David Richmond. I think Marcus Leonard was in there too.
Les Rayford, all those guys.
We did so well in this tournament, and I mean they loved having an American team. It just felt more credible. We had a blast there. They treated us like as Italians always do, really well.
Yep.
And then word got out that there's this American baseball team that crushed this league, and then they put us up against like one of their pro teams, and it was a different game, very different game. I was pitching. I remember these guys were rocking me so hard that they were hitting home runs, but they were pulling foul. They were hitting it so hard. It was just like, oh, yeah, I don't think I like this.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was a different, level and caliber that we played against, and they scared our team a bit. So anyway, we still had a great time with that. I'm glad you were, Chris, it's like anything. I don't remember each year or all the groups and so forth.
Yeah.
Did y'all play on the same team together, you and Chris?
Yeah.
I think for most of the time.
People would just come and go though in the summer because people, I guess, families traveled, and some guy would play for a couple of weeks with us, and then but
it became
for the
like
most part it was the same group.
Yeah, like it was one team. It wasn't. We didn't have a league. I mean,
right.
Long time ago, there might have been leagues. I remember that as a kid. I'll go back to like Craig Beck, those era and days, and we just got. I guess the interest or something changed, and but we still had the best time. And we would play over there on the North 40, over near the
hospital
base opening and stuff. Yeah, and then. We'd go on these great trips. We had people like Keith Painter and Paul Jerome who supported the youth activities, sports and curriculums, and they would take us and we would travel. And they'd obviously take my dad along and stuff like that. And we'd have a great time. I mean, and you're right, Les Rayford and his brothers.
His brothers, yeah.
Yeah. Wow. That's going way back.
I remember we landed in Vicenza, and maybe like my third night there, didn't know a soul. And I'd met Nick Finelli's dad was my dad's boss. So met Nick early on. And
I didn't know that.
Yeah. So they got me into one of the baseball games. It was just a regular game in the summer. And so it's like my second day there, and I'm out on the field. And I think one of the Ratcliffes was pitching, John or Paul, and I don't remember which one. So I'm, just kind of, good job, Paul. And then someone on the field, I didn't know anyone's names. And they were like, well, that's John, or that's Paul. Didn't know anybody, but so fun. Yeah.
Yeah.
And 2 weeks later, we went up to Bad Kreuznach This is 1982, and then we won the whole Class B of Europe. So that was really cool.
Yeah,
Wow.
I remember being on the younger team at that point. Yeah, I think Teddy Spittle was there too. I think things like Marcos was there too.
Marcos, yeah, John Rosario. It was a good Craig, James Craig.
These are people before you guys obviously came over, but with the Kellys, the Ravellos,
Bobby,
a couple others. Yeah, exactly. And that was a good, real fun baseball time.
When did y'all stop playing? Because I don't remember baseball when we were there.
It was a summer thing when most people were disbanded or doing summer hire, answering phone calls in Italian and stuff like that.
Wait, you weren't allowed out. There's more than one night. Those nights you weren't allowed.
I mean, we weren't. I mean, y'all. I mean, I'm not joking.
Like, I feel like when Cherie left for college, like I feel like I was allowed to do more because I remember going out more. I mean, not as much as you guys did, but I think.
Yeah. So mom, if you're watching, I would like an explanation.
Well, it's
Just
hard
saying.
with your first child.
It was probably because I was more responsible.
Probably.
Obviously.
Totally.
Yeah, Bobby, let's quickly jump to that story about us flying in your parents' minivan over the train tracks.
Oh,
What?
yeah.
I don't know that story.
Yeah, this is pretty fun because I got in big trouble for this because
So Becky Matson, don't know if you guys remember her.
yeah,
I
yeah,
put a picture. I sent you a picture of
Yeah.
her.
You
yeah.
did, you did.
But I think we left. Was it lunch or did we skip a class?
Something like that. Yeah.
I
Or
think we might have
Shane,
skipped a
or
class.
We went to go buy soccer cleats or something.
No, it was for basketball. It was I bought Reebok pumps. Remember those? for basketball. And my dad, he had this. And if he's watching this, he's gonna kill me because he always
He
talked
doesn't
about.
know.
Well, he knows because I ended up wrecking the car. But
Don't tell the end.
but he always said there that I don't want you driving in the rain. I was like, what are you talking about? He's like, it's more
Slippery.
something about slippery rain.
He still says that to this day.
yes.
Slippery rain.
So like all my nephews and brother and all them, they can't drive in the rain because of me.
Slippery.
So, Sean, were you the one giving directions, or was it Peter? Peter Ritchie was with us too, wasn't it?
No. It was just you, me, and Becky.
You mean okay? So
And
you
I
were the
was
one.
the one with
You
the
were riding shotgun.
Local guy,
Yeah.
right? We went out to Comisano to
Yeah.
I think it was Green Sport or something like
Yeah.
that.
Great. So we went out to get it. There was a circle, and
How the hell does Becky Matson get in on this? Like she wasn't buying anything.
I have no idea.
Hey Becky, come with me.
I can't believe Becky would be skipping school. I mean, how
Becky, what were you thinking?
what were you thinking?
So and I have it vividly in my mind. We got our way out there. That was fine. I guess as kids, you're not used to remembering how to give advance notice for directions and
Right.
changing and so forth. And
So it was pouring rain.
I don't
and-
remember that, but
Yeah,
okay.
it was pouring rain, and there was a circle, and you're like, we have to turn here. And I was getting ready to go around the circle, and I went flying over the circle.
Oh my God.
And so we landed, and we checked out the car, and we're like, oh, we lucked out. There's no damage to the car.
So let me replay what I remember. You're right. I remember like giving you late and by the speed that we were going, giving you late directions, kind of like, take that left.
Yeah.
Yeah, the one back there.
Right. And Bobby's like, hey! Now we're flying, and Becky, somehow I get a shot of seeing Becky in the back
Well,
seat.
she was in the back seat.
She's got her big hair going on, and she's got like a ghost face, like,
Oh
Yeah.
my God.
And she wasn't wearing her seatbelt, and she
I was
weighed
gonna
like
say.
a $1.05, if that. So she came flying up, and she joined us in the front seat.
Oh my gosh.
I think stories have grown over the years.
Yeah.
I got to admit, I mean, to be fair, I don't know that it sounds really dramatic, but
But I thought I lucked out because we got out, we checked the car out, there was no damage that we could see. So then we got to the school, I parked it, we went back to school the rest of the day. I go to drive the car home, it won't start. Like the oil was leaking, it was everything underneath the car was totally damaged.
Internal bleeding.
It was internal bleeding, and we had to go bring it I had to tell my dad, so then we had to bring it in the shop, and it was a Dodge minivan. It was like right when the minivans came out. I think it took 6 months for the parts to come from the States to Italy.
I never
all the
even
way
thought
over.
about what inconvenience it had to be.
And I had 5 brothers and sisters, and the only other car we had was a Volkswagen.
Yeah, cool.
Well, 4. There was 5 of us. Well, maybe being the 5th. So then the only other car we had was a Volkswagen Bug.
Math.
So the rest of us, we had to go to everything we did with the family. We fit 7 people in that Volkswagen Bug. It was like a clown car. It was.
And I remember Bobby would take me on dates in that clown car and be like, "Oh, could you just get out and push a little bit because I had to push it."
Yeah, we had to jump start it. So we had to get it going. So it was pretty embarrassing. But I got some big trouble for that, Sean. But you know what? It was well worth it because those Reebok pumps. I mean, they made me jump this much higher, and it was amazing.
Right. My Air Jordans did the same for me.
Right.
I appreciate the insights that the brothers were giving me. Dino was telling me to put Vaseline on them to keep them clean. I was like, oh, I'll put Vaseline. I don't know why, but I did. But I did jump higher, ran faster, and shot better. And Chris, you basketball too, right?
Yeah.
Okay. By the way, Jose Rosa says hello.
To all of us?
What's up?
No, just Chris. No.
You play baseball too.
Yeah, baseball, bringing us back. Ricky Rosa too.
Ricky was good.
You almost got the whole team putting it back in mind now.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of basketball, does anybody remember the time when Bobby broke his wrist?
I was getting to that.
Okay. You go ahead.
I was looking for that way to kind of bring Chris.
Wait, but was Chris on that? Chris, were you at that game?
Chris graduated. That was the year after Chris left.
Okay.
Me and
So
Chris.
I wasn't there either. I wasn't there either.
No. Me and Chris were on the team where we're the team that broke the streak. I'm surprised. Remember, they had that movie about the cell, that they had that long winning streak for high school. Me and Chris were part of the Vicenza. We lost the streak at NDI. Remember that, Chris?
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do.
How do you remember all of this?
I remember, but Chris, were you and I sitting on the sideline with Paul Houston and was it Houston? Somebody and Alan.
It was Alan. I was sitting right next to him, and your dad,
like yesterday. So
your dad gave me the dirtiest look, and I feel bad. I threw Alan under the bus. I pointed to Alan, because he just screamed it like I was shooting free throws, right?
So Alan was usually in his own world. I mean,
Yeah.
We get on one of the sports trips buses as an example, and he brought a guitar. Like he was going to be in his zone and play, which was fine, great, whatever. Yeah. But he was part of the basketball team. He would zone out listening to probably, I don't know, rock. And he's sitting on the end of the bench. I think Paul Houston right next to him, Chris and me, and we're watching, games happening. And the other team's shooting free throws. The whole place is quiet. It's probably this streak breaking moment of sorts, or in that buildup. Right. And Alan just kind of cues into the game, seeing the guy shooting, and it probably in his headphones it's loud and there's no one going to hear anything, and you could hear a pin drop in this place, and Alan just yells, "Bread!" and I think Chris was like sitting in my lap by this point. We're like trying to move ourselves away from him. We're
Hilarious.
like, what do you do? And on the flip side, the guy makes the shot and the whole place is roaring at us. And it was just one of those uncomfortable moments. But Paul Houston takes it the opposite direction, standing up going, F y'all, yo, come on, man. And it was just one of these moments that we were just like, my head spinning. Oh boy.
I loved going to those on those basketball trips. And I told Bobby this morning, like my favorite part, and this will sound dumb, but my favorite part was watching everybody warm up, and they had that big boom box, and they would play Curtis Blow's Basketball, and I'm like, that's right. I loved it. I didn't care about the game. I loved the warm up.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if y'all remember, I was a basketball manager for a while.
Because you followed in my footsteps.
Yes, Cherie was a basketball manager for the boys or the girls?
The girls.
The girls. I was the basketball manager for the boys because I just wanted to travel with Bobby. And
And somehow my parents let you do that, which I really still, again, not reconciling
I was free when Cherie left. They were like, let her
No
go.
rules.
The troublemaker's gone. Now,
Yeah, the troublemaker.
Well, you traveled with us.
she was with the
Yes,
girls.
but
She was
I
with the
was
girls
with the
basketball.
girls.
Well, the girls and the guys traveled together all the time.
They did.
Which is very unusual. It does not happen today in America.
Oh,
Like in
no,
high school,
true,
they are
true.
separate.
Well, usually the boys play at one place and the girls play at
Yeah.
another.
That's true. That's
I
true.
don't.
We had to drive 12 hours, so we had to travel together.
Yeah.
But, funny story, what Christy was talking about when she was manager is, and this was after you graduated, Chris, so it was pretty funny. So we're coming back from, we just played a game, so we're getting ready to go. We're driving on the bus. Then all of a sudden, and Sean, you know how your dad was. He was very vocal. He kind of shared his emotions on how he's doing that.
You talking
And I won't say the player's name because I don't want to embarrass him. But he sat there. He goes, "How in the hell did so and so get a rebound? He didn't even get in the game." And so Christy and Chrissy were the managers. They kept the stats.
We felt bad for people.
So
We
they
were
felt so bad.
Uh,
This kid didn't have any stats. They gave him a rebound.
who knew that the coaches actually looked at those stats?
I think that was pretty funny. I just remember your dad yelling out, "How the hell did he get a rebound? He didn't get the game."
Can I tell a real quick story too?
Yes.
So I think it was my senior year, we went down and played Naples basketball.
Mhm.
And I think we won. And I was the only person that didn't play that weekend, which was fine with me because I was always the 12th man. I could shoot, but I couldn't dribble, blah, blah, blah. So we come home, and that night we get to Vicenza maybe midnight, 2 a.m, and your dad, Sean, drives me home. We lived in Due Villa at that time. So he drives me home, and I didn't say anything to him about the game, and we just had some small talk. He dropped me off, and then the following Monday at practice, he brought me out on court, made an example of me. He goes, "This young man didn't play in the game, didn't say a word the whole way home, and as I drove him home, this is what a teammate's supposed to be, blah, blah, blah." A great example. He goes, "You're going to start this week against Aviano."
Oh, wow.
So I get to practice with the first team a little bit that week. And then it was a Friday night. It was a game at home against Aviano. And 5 minutes before the game, coach goes, "Camera, you're sitting on the bench. You're not playing." And of course, the whole team's just laughing their asses off. And I think your dad said something even funnier. And I was like, and of course I didn't care because I wasn't that good, but it was just typical your dad kind of move. It was so funny.
But sometimes it doesn't matter. Like, you just want to be on that team because look at all these experiences that we all shared
that
together.
was the best part.
That was the only way I could be a part of it, was to be the manager.
And now she's a teacher.
And me too.
And now I'm a PE teacher.
But I mean, do you remember like going to, was it Livorno, Camp Darby, Livorno, and like walking up the steps of the Leaning Tower of Pisa, and I wrote my name on it. I'm embarrassed to say, and I can't believe I just said it publicly, but like everybody else's name was on it at the top, and I'm like, I'm doing this. Like, I'm right.
That's a rebel. I thought the chewing gum was the worst thing.
That's your 80s, Cherie. That's your thing.
I wrote my name on the Leaning Tower.
I am telling mother.
Yeah. You are right.
I think she knows now.
Hey, Sean, she might be rating up there with Steffo now.
Steffo,
Right.
you better watch out. I'm coming for you.
Too funny.
A funny story too about what we're talking about. Chris, you'll relate this. I remember my first time getting in the varsity game, and I came from a program where you had to pass the ball, and the best shooter shot the ball. So I get in the game, and I have a pretty decent. I'm ready to shoot the ball. I'm in a good position. Well, I don't shoot. I pass the ball, and it hits off the defender and hits off our player's hand, goes out of bounds. Well, before I could get subbed out, Mr. Dempsey, they go down, they score 2 points, and then he calls timeout. He subs me out. Well, and your dad was always like, he really didn't sit there and chew you out as a person, but he was kind of an entertainer where he would tell everyone in the stand like what happened. So he sat there going on, listen, that could be the score was like 6-4. I mean, it was real early in the game, and he's sitting there. That could be the difference in the game. 2 points you cost us by not shooting the ball. They went down and scored. That's a 4-point turnaround. You could have cost us the game. It's the first quarter. It's like 6-4. I'm like, what the heck's going on? So the lesson I learned after that was, and Sean, and you played with me, I was an awful shooter. Like Chris could shoot. I was pretty athletic. I could drive to the basket, do different things. But after that, I was like, I'm going to get benched for not shooting. I just chucked it up no matter where I was at. I was shooting. Because I was like, if I'm going to get pulled out of the game for not shooting, I better shoot the ball. But your dad was just like, we're going to shoot. We're going to get 100 shots a game. We might not, but the more odds you have, the more shots you get, the more opportunity you have to win. But I just thought that was hilarious. And like, he never really sat and chewed me out, but he like explained to everyone in the stand. So I was sitting like no one knew I didn't shoot the ball, but everyone after your dad explained it was like, this guy did not shoot the ball. That's the reason why he got pulled out of the game.
Do you remember we played Correctum? Do you remember Correctum? It was basically if you made a mistake in the game, you were coming out. Somebody else was subbing in.
Yeah,
That would have gone crazy if you were doing the stats, but we would Correctum was basically everybody just on rotation. You just knew you were coming out because you missed a shot, you fouled or
you didn't shoot the ball,
Exactly.
And did you guys get a chance to taste some of the halftime pep talks in the locker rooms?
No.
Prima donna.
No,
Yeah.
share.
Oh, I can't recite for word for word. There's too many bleeps that would go into this, but my father, I mean, Teddy Spittle is probably in watching this and Paul and John will be like, yeah, and other teammates and genre, but he used to. We were always distracted, every one of us, right? I'm going to call us raging hormones, but you had different focuses. Your girlfriend was there. Somebody in the stands. But my dad had a way of seeing all this going on and going, you need to get your head in the game.
Mm-hmm.
And he would literally rip us apart, like swearing like you've never seen before, like obliterating us. Like you might have felt like you had a great ego because you had a great week. Maybe you kissed your girlfriend or something. And he made you feel like like, I don't know what's happening. And then he would piece you back together and the whole team. And you'd go out in the second half and you were game on. Your focus was in the game. And it's funny because some of the stories from other eras, they're like, we need a pep talk. We need a pep talk. Just rip us apart because we're not gelling right now. We need that kind of corporal punishment.
Yeah.
But I mean, they were classics, and it was just like people were. If you didn't get the brunt of it, you were watching and like rating the B rating. So it was just one of these things that people remembered. So Chris, you seem to have a memory of that.
No, I just heard some stories, and Teddy Spittle used to tell a lot. I think because my sophomore year we broke this streak. I was there. Up against Aviano. I guess Aviano had some incredible teams in the mid 80s, right? Well, I'm sorry, late 70s, early 80s. And then, so Teddy, he would share some stories with us. The prima donna stories, I think he used that word a lot with people.
My dad had a mask, a Carnivale mask. It was, I think it's the doctor. I think it was, I don't remember the guy's name, the doctor's name, but it was the one with the big nose. But basically it was a bottle of booze was what the nose was supposed to be. And they would drink they'd keep gallivanting around Venice, but he would literally wear the mask to the games because he was embarrassed. In humor. There was a lot of drinking going on around that era too. They were just like, and then Teddy and Marcus, the Spittles, their father was the assistant coach. And they were both, I don't know for fact or detail, but I got to imagine coaches were miserably boozed up and they're just like, I've got to get in the game. It's looking really bad out there. Like, and I apologize to the Spittles. I don't remember your father's name off the top of my head, but
was it Jack?
Might have been. I don't remember. You probably, but he's like, he literally puts on a Cougar jersey, an outfit, like in an older man, like the way we would look in it right now, big belly and just wanky t-shirt on, and he's out there with like chicken legs, and he's like catching the ball, doing layups and stuff. And intentionally, it was embarrassing our players, because they're like, "You guys suck so bad. You're just not doing anything here." Hopefully, I'll get to do like another podcast with that crew, and they can kind of really make the story
come alive.
Yeah. So, but we did have a lot of those good times. Just hopping back into those stages. So let's not forget the broken wrist story, because Bobby and his belief, he still believes he's dedicated teammate and fighting for the right fight.
Was that like a special game or something?
No, it was just a regular season. We were playing at Alviano, and I went up to take a layup, and the guy undercut me, and I fell.
Yeah. Well, wait. Let me give some context, because Aviano's players' parents were referees, so we were getting ripped off left and right for everything. Like, you breathed on him, foul. You can't.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Your player, it just was ridiculous. It was just getting worse and worse and worse, and you kind of take the challenge. But go ahead, Bobby. You get undercut, so
I ended up I landed on my wrist, and then I had a few foul shots, and I broke my wrist, and I airballed the first foul shot. Everyone's going, yeah, airball. So the next shot I shot with my left hand, and then we go. I played the rest of the game, and then we go to the emergency room, and they're like, "Oh, you have a broken wrist." And my dad was like, "Well, hey, what damage will happen if he plays?" He's like, "Oh, well, he'll just risk losing range of motion."
And for some reason, I was there, and I was like, "This is not a good idea. This is not a good idea. You need to cast it."
She's not told. So anyway, I get a cast. So we go the next morning. We're getting ready to play. We're playing Aviano again. My dad, Mr. Dempsey, and me are in the locker room taking the cast off, and my dad said, "Hey, I'm on the risk it." So Mr. Dempsey, we're sitting there doing it. And have you ever tried to take a cast off with the scissors and two old guys trying to pull it off? It was awful. It was so awful. So
pain. Yeah.
We finally get the cast off.
Hold on. I feel like I was in the room.
I'm finishing that.
Okay.
So then, while we're taking the cast off, Christy decides to come into the locker room.
Yeah, and this is what I said. I was like, "This is not a good idea. I am telling General Dickey," because he was in the stands, remember?
Yeah, well, Marketplace.
And Mr. Walsh looked at me, Mr. Walsh, my father-in-law, who I love very much, and he goes, "Christy, no offense, but you don't know nothing about sports. Go back outside."
And
he's like, "Oh, but I know about right and wrong."
Yeah.
No, but I'm telling you.
Yeah, so she ended up going to tell Mr. Dickey. So we go out, we're warming up. I'm thinking I'm playing in the game. I'm ready to go. And then all of a sudden,
they taped your hand up, though, right? You were taped up.
I was taped up. I was taped up. Mr. Dickey goes and talks to your dad, and then Mr. Summers was our assistant coach, and then they decided that I wasn't going to play. And
I am so sorry that I did that.
And I was very.
No, you're not.
I didn't have no idea. So I ended up. I was warming up, and then Mr. Dempsey comes in afterwards. I had no idea that Mr. Dickey talked to him, and he goes, "Bobby, you're not going to play today." And I'm like, "Wait, we just took the cast off. I just suffered through all this, and now you're making this decision." And I had no idea, so I was pissed off. I didn't play that day. I go home, then I find out that she's the one that went to Mr. Dickey and told him.
I did. And I have to say, where's your wrist?
I still don't have range of motion.
He does not have full range of motion in that wrist today because of it.
But the funny thing, Sean, is
but he says it's worth it.
And most people don't know this is I ended up playing. We had the tournament, and it took like 6 weeks, and like the tournament was like two and a half weeks later. So I decided, well, I took the cast off. So after we went back, I had to go back to Vicenza. I had to get my hand recast. I explained how the cast just happened to fall off.
Oops.
So then we go. We have 2 weeks, and then I'm sitting there. I was like, I'm gonna play. We have the tournament coming up. I want to play. I'm gonna take the cast off again. Well, someone's mother found out about this and went to Mr. Goldstein. Who's like, Bobby's gonna play. He's gonna take the cast off. So Mr. Goldstein came to me. He's like, you cannot play unless you have a note from a doctor. So I decided, well, I'm playing. So someone told me, hey, on Wednesday night in the emergency room, there's an Italian doctor. So I got my practice gear on. I went out.
Wait a
ran
minute, I
2
thought that
miles.
was it Peter Ritchie that
I
went
think it was
with
Peter
you?
Ritchie. Someone told me that there. So I ended up going to the Italian doctor, and I pretended like my left wrist was hurt. And,
He lied.
and I was
He
like,
lied.
I was at basketball practice. I laid it on my wrist. So he sets their exam. They take X-rays. There's absolutely nothing wrong with my wrist. He goes and goes, oh, it's probably a sprain. So he's like, I was like, well, can you write me a note? Because I need to have a note. And the whole time I was like, please do not write left wrist. Please do not write wrist. So he writes, he goes, sprained wrist, has to be out 7 to 10 days. There's nothing wrong with it. So I had to miss the next weekend. And go, and
That's
so,
what happens when you
yeah.
lie.
So then I ended up playing in the tournament. I couldn't shoot. I could only play left-handed. Well, people found out that I couldn't shoot. So when the game's close, who do they foul? They foul the guy who can't use his right hand. So I had to shoot granny style. You know how embarrassing that is? I was like Rick Barry in the 80s, shooting granny style. And we're playing in Naples. Everyone's up there laughing like, look at this guy shooting granny style. And the sad part about it is my free throw percentage increased. I actually shot better granny style.
Okay.
So then we played the game. We had the tournament. And I'm not sure if you realize this, shot is afterwards, after the tournament was over, I had to go back Monday to the emergency room and say, my cast happened to fell off again. I got recasted for the 3rd time.
Good God.
Wow.
Bad mistake.
Yeah.
Now we
It's
have that whole
pretty funny story.
No, we don't use tape anymore. But no, I didn't have that. That's a great story. It's a great one to go back on and pull out of the woodwork.
Yeah, my parents will probably be arrested for child abuse now for allowing me to do that.
Yeah.
But again, I'm not sure if you've ever seen the replacement stories where they always say, Flacco always says, hey, scars heal, but glory lasts forever. So we had the glory of finishing 3rd in the tournament.
Yeah, I think watching that kind of a movie takes me back to Vicenza easily.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Right. Oh man. So, Chris, what about you? What other basketball memories come back to you?
Oh boy.
I'll just put you on the spot.
Yeah.
No, that sucked.
Take your time. This you only have 5 seconds.
I know.
You can just answer any other question that you like. You don't have to answer that one.
Cherie, what's on the checklist?
Can I do want to give a special shout out to Yvette Caver on the women's team. She's the most talented person I think I've ever seen play basketball. I don't know whatever happened to her. She was a year senior to or a year older than me, but
She was amazing.
she was so incredible.
I found her playing ball with the military at the post gym, and she was awesome.
Yeah.
She was phenomenal.
She had great handle. Incredible.
We knew we had a championship without thinking twice with her. There was no.
She was incredible. Anyway,
yeah, she was awesome.
And Cherie, why don't you share what your favorite thing to do was, or when we would go to the gym? What did you like in the concession area?
Well, I'm just so some of the questions you've asked previously are like, what were your favorite restaurants?
Okay.
And so it's been interesting, like hearing what people say, and we keep waiting for somebody to mention Due Mori and Tony's Pizzeria.
Yes.
And no one has. I think really everybody.
Tony's.
Huh?
I mentioned Tony's.
Oh yeah.
Tony's.
And well, everybody always mentions the Garibaldi's and ice cream and stuff. And what I said to Christy and Bobby last weekend was, what about the jumbo burger with cheese, man? Like, why is nobody talking about the jumbo burger with cheese? I love that thing. And I don't remember where was it in the, what, I feel like the PX.
It's a gym.
They sold it at all the places.
Yeah, but it was in several places because there was the PX, and in the corner it seemed like there was some eating place.
Yeah.
What?
There was a snack bar.
Foodland, maybe.
Jumbo burger with cheese was so good.
That was her favorite.
Was this like a menu item that you would order and they would make it for you from scratch, basically? I mean,
No, it was like the Athie's burger, or you had a jumbo cheese. It was like,
Yeah.
or you had pizza. I think there was 3 choices. There was 3 choices, or a pitcher of beer. I think those are the 4 choices.
Yeah, I
Of
mean,
course, Cherie did a pitcher of beer.
yeah, this is on the post. I mean, this was on the post. I mean, do not misunderstand me. There is no better food than Italian food. We are actually very lucky because somehow my mom took a cooking class in Italy. We lived in Italy, and so my mother makes the best Italian pasta sauce. She does the bolognese. She does the what's the other, the amatriciana. She does the carbonara.
Olio.
Arrabbiata. What?
Olio.
Oh, she does like that. That's a little bit too hot for me.
Mm-hmm.
But she kills it. Like, I love
that's
the
awesome.
pasta. But if you were on the post, what about the jumbo burger with cheese? I don't understand why nobody has mentioned it. I don't understand. I've been waiting. Nobody mentions it.
That was before the Burger King opened.
Yeah.
Yes, that was before the Burger King opened.
Right.
That was before the Burger King was big deal. And what I said to, okay, so wait. So here I'm going to ask y'all. I said to Bobby this morning, I said, I don't understand. We were talking about, my, our parents were very protective of us, but yet they would let us get on a train and go to Venice, no cell phone. I mean, we could have literally never returned. Like not because we were trying to escape, but just we could not find our way back. I don't understand why they did that. But I said, Bobby, don't you remember what the big challenge was whenever we go to Venice? And he's like,
Oh, yeah,
no.
you tell us.
Yeah.
What, none of y'all know?
I don't
Chris Camera. You get off the train in Venice, and what do you immediately go try to find?
I have no idea.
The
There were-
pen,
I don't know.
the pen with the naked women on it that you turn up.
No. You now remember, for all intents and purposes, people in the public, we don't have cell phones, we don't have no GPS, we don't know where we are, and Venice is a maze.
Oh,
So, by the way, you could get lost there and never find your way out. We tried to find the Wendy's. Don't y'all remember that? Every single time. And it was a different route.
that was
every time.
Milan.
And I never knew. What?
I don't remember.
Wasn't that Milano?
No.
I don't remember a Wendy's
remember
in
that.
Venice.
I don't think-
Venice. I'm telling you right
It was
now.
Milano.
It was not Milano because
I just
Milan.
like to
Get on
say
the
Cherie
train,
is
gotta-
wrong. Cherie is wrong. Somebody be Googling this right now.
There's
I'm
no way
telling
there
you
was a
right now, I am
Wendy's.
not wrong.
There was no
Bobby.
way there was a
I'm with
Wendy's.
you, Chris. I'm with you.
No,
Cherie, you're
I am
tripping.
not wrong.
I don't remember a Wendy's in
Listen,
Milan.
you might have been an honor roll student in Vicenza, but Wendy's did not exist in Venice.
Yeah.
Yes, it did.
Okay, you Google it and you send it to us.
Y'all, we did this all the time.
All
we
I
did this all
remember
the
are
time,
the
and it
pigeons.
was in the middle, and it was like you'd round the corner, and there's the Wendy's. You have made it.
I
It didn't
would
taste
love
good.
to have
It
gone
didn't
to
taste
Wendy's.
good. It was an Italian Wendy's. I mean, it was in the.
I remember that place. It wasn't. Yeah, it was an Italian burger place, but it wasn't
Okay.
Wendy's.
All right, if it's an
Yes,
Italian burger place,
it
it's
was.
Wendy's.
Yeah. Cherie
So,
might
Chris
be.
Cameron, I will prove you wrong now. Now,
Okay.
now,
Please do.
now these are
Challenge
fighting words.
accepted. Challenge accepted. Y'all can continue that on later.
Yeah, we'll do this offline. We will
Yeah,
do this
offline.
The only thing I remember in Venice, Cherie, is when I threw birdseed over you and Christy, and all the pigeons attacked you guys.
And that was rude. That was so rude because then there
But
was
it-
just a flock of pigeons.
There
Yep.
you go.
But it was so fun.
Flock of pigeons. They were really good. Flock of seagulls.
This is a picture in Venice that me and Christy had after we ate at Wendy's.
You need to go back and maybe not wear the same outfits, but take the same picture.
Yeah, you do.
Oh, we have never been back. We have never been back. It's sad.
And I am more stupid because just like Chris, I worked at Delta in finance, and I sat my butt down in the seat. You could fly for free. You had free flight benefits. And I said, I'm going to go everywhere else, but I will not go to Italy because I want to force myself to see other places. And I really regret that.
Chris, have you been back? I know Sean has, but you have?
Yeah, about 20 times to Italy, not Vicenza, but
Oh, okay.
yeah, Italy. Mostly Rome.
Okay.
and Venice a couple times. So
Yeah, I love Rome. I really, Rome just does it for me. It's just
well, Venice, they're losing. It's
I know.
it's such a touristy place now, and
it's an international destination. It's not the Venetians, the Italians.
there's I don't think maybe 40,000 Venetians live there. Maybe I think they told us some. Yeah, it's so sad. It is really so sad.
You know what? Every big city does this. Everybody sees opportunity, and but we on our last trip, my wife and I, we stayed on the not on the island. We stayed off the island. You could take a local bus, and it would take you right into the stop where they dump all tourists off, and then you catch a vaporetto or walk. But all the Italians are over there. They sold their piece of plot of land on the island, and they talked their stories about how they quadrupled their monies, and now they're complaining about all the foreigners.
Yeah.
I'm like, what do you want?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So, but I can't believe you didn't go there. So wait, Cherie, did you go anywhere with all that free ability to travel?
Yeah.
Virginia?
Actually,
Fredericksburg.
what'd you say?
Fredericksburg.
Well, I did go to we haven't mentioned it,
We have
but
the children we drew her in with the children.
Of course.
Christy and Bobby have got 3 daughters that are beautiful inside and out. If I talk about it anymore, I'll cry. But they let me claim them too, and I love them to bits. And so a lot of my time I spent going wherever the babies were.
And I have to say, she's the best aunt. I told her our youngest daughter is getting ready to go to college, Alexa, and I said, she needs a power strip, and Bobby is saying that we have to use the one that we have in the basement, and I don't even know where it is, and I was worried that we weren't going to be able to find it. 2 days later, Amazon Prime at my doorstep, a power strip, because her child will not be going to college without power.
Well, you wanted the long extension cord.
I wanted the long
I can't believe you told that story.
I'm sorry, I did.
That's really an insignificant point of this. But anyway, no, for my 40th birthday, I went to Prague. And I was not excited about it. I knew nothing about Prague. I don't know if y'all have been, but it is one of the most beautiful places I have ever seen in my life. And I think Italians go there on vacation, because I was in some beautiful little shops. What?
Sorry, I'm not trying to interrupt your story. I'm just telling you I changed drinks.
Oh, I thought it was from Prague.
Drink up.
Okay.
We're talking about Prague.
Okay.
Anyway, but I remember, like, I was sitting there, I was standing in a shop, and there were all these little handwritten signs that said, don't touch our stuff, but it was all written in Italian. And I'm like, what? And then we ate in an Italian restaurant that was like spot on, like, so, because I'm always very skeptical. I'd rather eat my mom, if I'm not going to Italy, I'm going to eat my mom's pasta. I'm not going to go to any Italian restaurant. Yes, that's not going to happen. But it was so good. So yeah, I did that. I went to France. I did go. I just didn't let myself go where I loved. We loved Italy. We loved it. And so I need a do-over when we get a vaccine, right?
And that was our plan when we turned 50, which I just turned 50 a couple of weeks ago. That was our plan to go. So we do want to go back.
Good. I'll let you guys know when I'm going.
Yeah, that would be so much fun.
I'm bringing my wife and my son, so
that will be
forewarned. You'll see a mini me and my wife. So,
and it is a mini you. He looks just like you. Isn't that crazy?
I love it. It works for me.
Well, Bobby's got a bunch of girls that look just like him too. Well, I guess
Bobby's boss came into his office one day, and this is back when we only had one, our oldest daughter, Ashley, and there was a picture of Ashley on his desk, and his boss said, if I ever wanted to know what you would look like as a girl, that's it.
And my daughter is so proud of that.
haven't seen each other since high school. So the idea of stopping by and saying hi, first of all, I know it's like you'd be like, okay, there's like 50 other Vicenza people in the area that we need to get together with. But just the idea of like being in your house and seeing your creations and just being like, I don't know you, but I know you, but I
I know.
me a little maybe, but just so I know the family.
I know. It's so weird. A very long time ago, one of my friends said it was Ashley. She went to some camp and she said, "Are you related to the Walshes?" And Ashley was like, "Yes, that's my grandparents." And she just said how they all looked alike. I mean, there's just a strong
It's strong. It's extremely strong. Sean, do you remember that Chris and I went to the reunion in DC?
So that's around the time frame my dad passed away.
You were there.
I know I was there, but how much of myself was there? But
yeah,
you guys were there, okay? And not that I don't remember.
I don't think that. I don't know. I don't know if it was before or after that, because I would have remembered.
It was after you gave the red pill, blue pill speech.
Oh, you remember that?
What was the red pill? What was that speech?
Well, so that's Matrix. Matrix, the movie, must have come into the genre and the lexicon. So all right. My father. Let's see if I can hold it together.
Sorry.
It's okay. Yeah. Wow. Thanks, Cherie. No. So it's a beautiful, poignant moment in time. But I'm trying to remember. There was a. And my memories may be a little displaced, so I may put some things together here. But my father was literally dying that morning. I mean, he was. I said my goodbyes, and it was just kind of. I don't know if the thought was maybe it's I mean, it's saying goodbye. There's no. You don't have to be there at the ultimate last minute moment. There's no real goodbye is saying goodbye when you're ready to say goodbye, or you miss that opportunity. So, wow.
I'm sorry. You don't have to share, Sean.
Yeah.
I did not know it had any. I did not know it was.
So I'll try to stay on the highway here because it's a good character builder. But my plane lifts off and he lifts off as well. I think. When I'm there at the airport, Teddy Spittle picks me up, I think. I stay with the Spittles, and Tamara's there, and I forget who else was there with us, but everybody was just wonderfully supportive, this just in the moment. And everybody was good to me, of course. But anyway, I don't remember the entire weekend for what it was worth, but I do remember, I think it was Kohut that asked me to say something or whatever. I had the option to decline, of course, too, or whatever. And I remember talking. I don't remember everything I said. I remember Jenny Pellerito in the distance, but the look on her face was just the support and the love and everything. And, and then you're surrounded by Vicenza. So you're surrounded by a lot of supportive people that have that collective memory. But Chris, you're remembering a piece that talking about the red pill, blue pill. What do you remember? Cause I don't remember. I don't remember.
I don't remember either. Teddy quoted you on I remember his big head Vicenza high school site, and I think he put a quote from your speech, and it had something to do with something about making a choice, but I don't know what you were referring. I can't remember what you were referring to.
Yeah, I don't remember either. But it was definitely a sweet moment, and honestly, in my experience, it was more of a no man's land. It didn't matter where I really was, so it was nice to be around people. I remember humorously, people were like, here, let me buy you a drink. You know, everybody was like giving me drinks, like play that card with the ladies, man. I'm just like, okay. But yeah, I mean, it was one of those things, and I don't know, you know, as it happens, and I apologize, guys. I don't recall if your parents any of them have moved on yet, but yeah, when you join the club, it can be really hard for some. And I'll tell you a different side story. Matthew Goldstein, Skippy.
Yeah.
Somewhere after their father had passed, Skippy and I have stayed in touch more than Andrew and Jonathan. We were closer in age and so forth. But his recollection to this was like, I understand now. I remember and I get it and all that good stuff. So let's move on to other topics.
I'm sorry that I brought that up, but I have to say that the best thing about all of these podcasts are like, I haven't seen you, Sean, in I don't even know 30 years. I haven't seen Chris since I want to say it's almost been 30 years too, Chris, right? But I feel like we're still all connected. It doesn't matter how many years go by. We're connected by our experiences from Vicenza. And I feel like if you showed up on my doorstep, I definitely would let you in. And I feel like that we would have a great time because just sharing that small amount of time in our life. Like Chris was only in Vicenza when I was there for 2 years, right, Chris?
Mm-hmm.
2 years, but yet I just feel so close. We just shared something that like my own kids don't have, you know, like they've grown up with the same people forever. I just feel like it's different. It's different when we just living over there and just.
And I think it's you know, and we can tell a story is why don't you tell the Jimmy Pellerito story?
Oh my God, Jamie Pellerito. Okay, yeah. We were in New York City. New York for a soccer tournament, maybe volleyball tournament. I don't remember.
Soccer.
But we were at a hotel in New York, and Alexa and I, which is my daughter, we were downstairs in the hotel eating breakfast, and I became very aware of some man who was watching me. And I am like, oh my God, what the hell? And so like, we're getting our food, we're making our, you know, it's a hotel breakfast. I'm making the waffles. And I am aware constantly that he is sitting at his table and he is watching us. And Bobby, of course, was upstairs doing whatever. And so, yeah, doing his hair.
Yeah.
And he ain't got
That's why
none.
I look so good.
And so we're sitting down and then Bobby comes finally. And I'm like, oh my God, that man is staring at us. And I was starting to get like a little like, okay, this is weird. And like, as soon as Bobby came down, he starts walking over. And I'm like, oh my God, he's coming over here. And he said, this is going to sound very crazy, but I think I know you guys. And I'm looking at him like, you have been staring at me for like 30 minutes. You do not know me. I do not know you. And he's like, what did he say?
No, he goes, I think I went to high school with you.
Yeah.
And as soon as he said that, I'm like, Jamie Pellerito, because he looked the same.
He looks exactly the same.
He just had longer hair, but as soon as he said high school, it's like Jamie Pellerito.
Oh my God. And I wish I could find the picture because we have a picture of me, Alexa,
Alexa was us. Yeah, the four of us.
With Jamie Pellerito. I mean, who would have thought? Like, Bobby looked at me and he was like, that man does not know us. We're in New York. Nobody knows us here. You're crazy.
Eat your breakfast. Let's get out of here.
Yeah, eat your breakfast. Shut up is basically what he was saying.
I think we were late to Alexa's warm-up because Jamie, we were sitting there talking, we were reminiscing about the.
But it was
times.
so awesome
it was
because
awesome.
You don't run into people, and I think sometimes when I'm telling people, like I told my two good friends, I was like, "Oh, we're doing a podcast today of our, you know, like our high school," and they're like, "Oh, okay," and I'm like, "You don't understand. Like, I mean, we don't see these people. Like, they live all over the world." So anyway,
Cherie came to see me when I was at UGA. Let me say that differently. He played basketball for Georgia Southern, and Georgia Southern came to play University of Georgia. And so he looked me up and told me that he was there. And I lived in a co-ed dorm. He was waiting for me in the lobby. And I went down. I was so excited. You know, it was the first person I had seen since we left. And so I went down to to the lobby, and I was like, I don't see him. Where is he at? And then I start seeing all the people that are just sitting in the lobby, and they're all looking in this one corner. And I was like, what's everybody looking at? And I look over there. Y'all boys probably know how tall Cherie is. I can't remember how tall he is.
Giraffe.
But he is, huh?
6'10", wasn't he?
He is gigantic.
6'9",
I didn't know.
6'10", yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm
seven.
5'2".
I never played with him, but I
mean,
always heard stories about him.
Yeah, I look like a lawn ornament standing. I mean, he is like so tall that he is up and, you know, above. He was standing by a Coke machine, and he was like obviously looming over it, and everyone was looking at him like, who's this dude? And I was like, Cherie. And so, you know, I hugged his ankle and all, and but we hung out like the whole time that the team was there.
Awesome.
And that was really, really neat.
That's awesome.
And I remember like being in between classes on campus, and I meant to look her entire name up, but there was a girl that was walking towards me. There are 40,000 people that go to this school. There's a girl that's walking towards me. I'm looking at her. I'm creeping on her, Jamie Pellerito. I'm passing her. She's passing me. And I was like, I know this girl. I turned around and looked at her. She had stopped and turned around and was looking at me. So I was like, okay. So I start walking back towards her, and I'm like, do you know me? And she said, yes. And it was Margaret somebody. And she was this sweet, but I can see her face. I've got to find her. I don't know what year. I don't know if she was, but I think she was on the volleyball team. And, you know, I was with Mr. Pellerito with the volleyball stats and the basketball stats. But random.
I don't remember. The name isn't ringing for me.
I didn't give you much. I gave you Margaret.
I thought Margaret Thatcher first. That's the first thing that comes to mind.
Well, a funny story about the reunion, though. I remember we couldn't go because my cousin got married that weekend. So Cherie went there, and she's like, "Oh, I met this guy," and it was David Richmond, and he was having this conversation with her because he thought she was Christy.
He was so sweet to me. He was like, oh, I've missed you. Like, we were friends. And I was like, I do not remember that. Oh, yes, I know. Like, I was like, please help me. Like, is my memory that bad? Like, I mean, I recognized him, you know, but they informed me that he was mistaken. I don't think he ever figured it out the whole time we were there.
That happened to me, too, at one point. I'm trying to remember the names, but they thought I was my brother. So they ran up to me and were chatting with me. And I'm not Lenny. Just
You know, and what I remember, like I am fascinated, like watching these podcasts and watching Lenny, because what I remember about him from high school was just very, quiet, like, for me, like he did not talk to me, you know, he was doing different things. I mean, he says it like he was the bad kid or whatever. And, you know, obviously
Cherie was not.
missed your chance. Opposite. You missed your chance.
Look, I was trying to stay out. I was trying to stay within the good graces of my parents. Anyway, so it's really, I really feel like I've been getting to know him watching the podcasts.
Good. So, guys, I don't know if you've noticed, but we've been running for almost a good 2 hours, and I probably I know.
And you told us, Sean, that it would feel like a blip in time, and I don't think we believed you, which is why Cherie has printed up her notes, because I was like, no way are we going to be able to come up with like 2 hours of conversation, but I feel like we could go on forever.
You have 30 more items to go, right?
Sure, what steps haven't we got to yet?
Wait, knock them out. What do you got?
Well, we went to East Berlin. The wall. I mean, you guys, the wall, Washington, D.C. has that whole museum with pieces of the wall. And I was like, we were there. So I did write that down.
How about when we go out to eat? Chris, you can probably tell this story a little bit more. We go out to eat, and then there's always be people, drinking beer and stuff like that. They always come up to us and say, "Hey, what do you guys want?" Cherie would always, before we could even say anything, she's like, "We do not drink." You remember that story? Cherie does not recall this, but that happened.
And so he forced me. Bobby said, "I want you to come to this podcast with a drink in a wine glass." So I did.
Yeah.
You still got a ways to go there, so.
And it's a Coke Zero.
It's a Coke Zero. It's a Coke Zero.
He said, "Do not put ice in it." So I've been sipping on some warm Coke over here. It's Coke. It's Coke. I'm not trying to be
Cabernet. I thought you were lining it up.
Yeah, I look. I've watched my mother for years. She's got it down. No, so Bobby, I'm feeling like Sean's telling us we need to hurry up, but
no, we can't rush it. We just realized that we could talk forever, like Christy was saying. We could keep.
Yes,
going.
we just need to have a virtual happy hour that's not recorded.
Yeah, and the idea that this is it isn't it at all. And this is this group, right? It's like. We'll blend things. Let's try to, bring more people together. I mean, Bobby, the soccer team, I can see a lot of them wanting to get together to do one of those, "Hey, how you doing?" kind of things.
And that'd be great, Shock. And I think that's the thing when I was watching Steffo, which was amazing. He lives in Alexandria, so he lives less than an hour away from me.
Oh, he would love to see you guys.
And it's amazing that, we live this close and we don't, you have no idea without the podcast. So,
but I feel like there are a lot of people that live in Virginia.
Yeah.
What's this picture?
This is Sean.
This is Sean.
Sean, after we lost the finals against OSR.
And I didn't want to send it to you, but I did because there's so many people were so upset. I was like, "Bobby, what was going on here?" And he was like, "This is when we lost the finals."
Yeah.
I can't believe I was wimping out. I can't believe it. I wimped out.
Yeah.
Thanks for catching it now.
You do look a little devastated.
I know. I'm sorry, but I loved it. Let's see. Bobby's crying there too. There's Jonathan.
Kelly McKay.
Why is Kelly dressed differently?
I don't know.
Well, no, Kelly.
He wouldn't have played.
He graduated. So Kelly actually wrote.
Oh, okay.
No, he was at Notre Dame. So he came back
And there's Eric Dean in the background over there, right?
Yeah, Eric. Yeah.
Yeah, but to your point, I think this crew would love to get
Martha
together.
Dickey.
Yeah.
Right? You'd think, right? I know Mike would love to.
Yeah.
I think I was number 5.
You were number 5. That's you. Sammy Bedwell. I think that's Sam Adams with his head down.
John Shaw, right behind Mike. I don't know if that's Tesca over to the left.
That's Tesco. It is, yeah.
Yeah, backside next to Marcus.
John Shaw, yeah.
Yeah.
Is that Craig Beck or is it Chip Stan? In the back.
I don't know who that is right next to Jeffries. I mean, I know it's McIntyre, but I don't. Yeah. Oh, in the back there. Yeah, that's got to be. It's got to be him.
Yeah.
And can I just say, look how short those shorts were. Like, I mean, they don't
That's
wear them like that
ridiculous.
anymore.
I don't
That's
even
crazy.
think fabric was ever considered either.
Yeah.
But I mean, this brings back good memories. Yeah. So Tesco wearing the white jersey.
Hey, but Sean, I remember. But who was the assistant coach there? The blue shirt was it? Remember, he was a Marine Army guy. He was our assistant coach. Remember?
I don't remember.
That's all. He was pretty cool. I can't remember his name now.
I don't know. Maybe if I see a different picture. That's Jenny Rokas.
Jenny
Right?
Rokas.
Jenny. Steffo.
Yeah, I got a funny story with Jenny Rokas. I'm not sure. Remember the game before this? Before we played Naples.
No.
We played Naples before this, and I think we beat them like 7-0 or 7-1.
Oh.
And at the end of the game, we had a rivalry with them. We hated them; they hated us, and they were cheap shots. So they right beforehand, they came up, and the guy came up and kneed me in the back, and the guy got a red card, and I was getting ready to go after him. And the funny thing is, Marca was kind of talking me out of it. And Marca, usually it was reversed. Usually I was talking Marca out. But Marca was kind of, "Hey, calm down. It's all right. We're going to be in the finals." So Mr. Ritchie subbed me out of the game. And I was going out of the game. He goes, "Hey, Bobby, it's getting a little bit rough." But he subs Jenny in the game for me. And as a 17-year-old boy, a guy, 18, getting subbed out. And Jenny was and she was a great, excellent player. And, if she, on a girls' team, she'd be phenomenal. Nothing against Jenny, but the Naples players heard Mr. Ritchie say this to me. So when I'm walking off the field, they're giving me an earful. And Sean, you know Mr. Ritchie is just the most sportsmanship, calm, never says anything, always just smoking on his pipe, taking on his pipe. And they're giving me this hard time. And Mr. Ritchie puts his arm around me. He's like, Bobby, don't worry about this. I got this. And then the next thing I know is Mr. Ritchie just starts going to him, waving number 7. Remember that? You might not remember because the game was going on.
What's number 7?
Because we were winning 7-0 or 7-1. And Mr. Ritchie just waved the score to him. And afterward, they did not say a word. And we went over there. I thought that was the greatest thing ever. Because I never thought Mr. Ritchie in his wildest would ever do anything like that.
Right.
And it was like, I thought that was one of the coolest moments. But as a 17-year-old guy, I just thought, it's getting too rough. Let me put a girl in for you.
Right. That's got to make you go, well, wait a second. So there's Becky. She was the culprit.
Yep. And that's Amy Gibson.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And there's you.
We were on a ski trip in Austria, I believe. It was Christmas time because there's a Christmas tree behind us.
Nice.
And I had left, I think.
You
Christy.
were gone. See, that's when I was being free and I was getting to do all these fun things.
I had left. I don't know where we are.
I don't know where we are, but that's you and Chris, and that's Kelly Lambert. Do you remember?
That's
She's probably in a jumbo business.
Wasn't that place called Kenny's?
Kenny's?
Was it?
Kenny's with a K because your ex-boyfriend from high school and
Oh,
God.
Miami.
That.
Chris, you remember that.
Who's
Oh, wow.
I don't recognize this guy.
Who is that? Gosh, I feel like his name was on the tip of my tongue, but I don't know. I sent you the picture. That's Bonnie Gibson,
Yeah.
Becky. That's
Heather Van Gorder.
Heather Van Gorder.
Yeah.
And is that not a daily?
That's not,
No.
that's not Mark.
No.
Is that Amy's and Bonnie's brother?
Who?
Amy and Bonnie's brother?
I didn't know they had a brother.
They did. They had a younger
their
brother.
younger brother. That might be their brother.
They had a
Interesting.
younger.
These
Now
guys-
who's that, Chris? Who's that? That's me and
Wow.
Drinking Pepsi.
Drinking
I don't
Pepsi.
remember drinking a Pepsi ever in my life.
Well, you did.
Well,
I
there
saw
it
this
is.
picture on my phone. I was like, I don't know who that is. And then now I see it. I'm like, oh, it's Chris.
It's me and Chris, and this actually is not in high school. This was me and Chris went to visit Cherie when she was at the University of Georgia, and this is in Cherie's dorm. And I don't know why I'm claiming Chris's arm like that, but
All right.
Oh, that's
Amy.
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 Yeah.
And me. That's a horrible picture. Oh, here's the backside of people. Why would you send that picture in?
It's all right.
I don't know, but that's Bobby in the tan. I mean, who wears tan? I don't know, but
Sean Stanton
Sean Stanton,
and Tracy Brown.
Tracy.
Oh,
Brown.
yeah.
In the blue shirt, I think that's Michelle McKay.
I would have guessed
Okay.
that too.
Yeah.
My first guess, but all right. Football.
Oh, look at y'all.
That's me and Scott Fell.
Oh, and Sean, Bobby has watched and rewatched the football clip of him scoring that touchdown. He's called all the children down to see how fast he is. It's crazy.
Number 83.
I think
Sean, we gotta get in touch with the Dingens because I thought that was great that they put all those football games.
Yes, very cool.
Because I've got all of our soccer games that are my senior year on
Great.
VHS.
you got to put them on. Well,
I'm
He doesn't
How
know
did he
I'm
do
not
it?
very technical.
Costco. Costco.
Costco.
Really?
They got rid of their photo center. They got rid of their photo
Yeah.
center.
You go to Costco and they I mean, you probably do it online too, but it's probably cheaper to go to the Costco.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I gotta post those because that'd be fun to watch. Because I thought
Please
that was
do. Please do. I'd do the same thing. I'd show my son, but it's that same disparity. I mean, he's not going to get the same opportunities we had because his caliber quality is a different level. So it's like, yep. But there's Mr. Drack.
Yep.
Yeah.
Good old days.
I think that's Edwin Marrero back there in the corner.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Dino's there too.
Yeah. All right. Okay. What was this? Us winning against Naples, maybe?
This was in Naples. This was after Mr. Ritchie waved 7-0 to the Naples team.
I remember I used to bleach my hair. I'd put poured peroxide.
Yep.
Yeah.
We were just
All
talking
of
about
y'all
that
did that.
today. That was a big fad.
Every one of you had yellow hair.
Right. Right. We thought we were cool though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Mike Mitchell, I think.
Mike Mitchell.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, here we go. Soccer boys and girls.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Totally.
that's fun. And I need this kind of a picture to remember.
I know.
Like, I don't know. So yeah.
Pictures help.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know who's on the end there. I know.
I don't know
Well,
that person.
Yeah, that was our assistant coach. I think it was Hyman. I can't remember his name. I think is that Craig Beck or Chip Stanton?
That's Craig Beck, Jamie Anson.
Yeah.
I don't remember this guy.
I think it's Scott something.
Yeah, I remember Scott something.
Right.
Then that's Tom, Alan,
Mark
Marka,
Teska. Is
Marteska.
that Mike McNichols, maybe?
Yeah,
I think that's me.
that's you.
It's you.
Sammy,
Andrew,
Andrew.
Steffo,
Steffo, Mike, Bobby, John Shaw,
Sam, Jonathan,
and
Jenny.
Mr. Ritchie.
Wow.
Well, y'all just barely got Jenny in there.
Jenny, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Oh, Kathy Summers.
Yep.
I think this was graduation.
That was our graduation, Kathy and mine.
Okay.
Mr. Summers.
Mr. Summers, assistant basketball coach.
Yeah, he was great. He
Excellent guy.
I thought he has a lot of videos too, or maybe
He probably does.
He probably does.
Yeah.
like Chris has them. So gotta reach out to him and get those.
Yeah.
Why do you have this picture? Who are these guys? Are these guys
Oh, these guys. I'm not sure if you remember this, Sean. Is
Malopo and Tornavacca?
these are the guys from OSR. But after I graduated, I stayed in Italy for a year, and then my parents didn't trust me to go back to the States by myself. I'm not sure why, but so I went to go watch you guys play basketball, and then remember the OSR soccer coach was also the basketball coach.
Okay.
He asked your dad. He's like, "Hey, why is Bob Wolf sitting up there?" And your dad was like, "Well, he didn't go to college or anything like that." So OSR had like a postgraduate school, and they were playing in a tournament in Mexico in March for spring break. And I was out of school for a year, so this is like in February. And he basically's like, "Hey, we're going to Mexico. Are you interested in going?" I was like, "Well, yeah. What do I have to do?" He's like, "Well, you just have to roll in school for 2 weeks beforehand for our postgraduate school. You can go to Mexico." I was like, "I'm in." So I'm not sure why Christy sent that one.
I don't know why I sent that one either. I'm sorry.
It's fine. No, but it's a good story.
Yeah.
Mhm.
This brings
it
back
on.
memories. I just don't remember what
Is
money.
is that Ivan Doliani?
That's Ivan Doliani.
Yeah.
In fact, this game was when we beat OSR. It was your freshman year. We went up to Milan. Remember, it was a monsoon, and there was we played in mud, and as you can see, we're all in mud.
Oh my
They drove
God.
they drove up to Milan. We didn't think we were going to play because the field there was like an inch of water on the field, and we beat Milan 1-0, and we beat OSR 1-0. I think that was the first time they ever beat OSR.
And look how happy Mr. Ritchie looks in that
I
picture.
was just
Yeah.
looking at his face.
But we were 2-0. We won both games 1-0.
Yeah, we had a good start that season.
Yeah.
Mhm.
We choked at the end, but that's okay.
That's okay.
And Kyle's in here. I mean, it's not that we choked. We were beat.
Kyle Abbott.
Oh, I see Kyle
There's
Evans back.
Kevin McKay's on Ivan's back there.
Yeah.
I'm not sure why Kevin's not dressed because
Maybe he just had on a
Yeah.
jacket.
he might have just put a jacket on because I know he was muddy too.
Mhm.
I think that's my
Is
sister.
that your sister? Is that?
That's Cindy taking a picture.
That's Cindy.
Yeah.
That's
That's
awesome.
me, you, and Sam Adams in our short shorts.
Girls like the legs, Got to show 'em off.
Y'all look good. Y'all look good. Oh, that's me.
That's
That's me, Chris, in your shirt that you had on.
Oh yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, not exactly your shirt. This is Bobby's shirt.
Yeah.
But we went to the French Riviera for either Bobby's senior
that was
trip or
Nice.
mine.
Spring trip.
Yeah.
Nice spring trip.
Nice and spring trip. Yeah.
Okay, whatever.
Yeah.
But I have no idea what that picture is in the background.
I think you had a drink, Christy, on that trip, and you asked, "Is this?" You were asking if you could. Is it dangerous to mix drinks? And I think you were talking about like a Coke and rum, like.
We were sheltered, Sean. We were sheltered.
Sheltered.
John Shaw.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Probably the Nice trip is my guess.
That was a nice trip.
Yeah.
We were playing cards.
I don't. I'm guessing that might have been Gina Valletta, but I don't know. Elisa Woods or something.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
When I think back on, oh,
There's
Richie.
Mr. Richie.
This is a good one. I'm if you guys don't mind, I'm going to post it. I think
I
No,
love
that's
that
really
one.
good.
Yeah.
I love it.
it's a great picture.
Yeah.
My mom actually took a really good picture of Mr. Hakeem, and I think it's in my Facebook albums.
Well, you get it out of your albums. Bring it, girl. And then
Yeah.
Mrs. Richie.
This is
doing her thing.
Richie. Home ec.
Yeah. This is the niece trip as well. That's what's his name?
That's Robert. Robert.
Robert Beck and
Who we got on the left? I can't remember.
I
Alessio.
don't.
Alessio Bigotto.
Alessio. That's yeah.
His sister Samantha, but that's Alessio.
Yeah.
He lost all his hair too, just so you know.
Oh yeah.
He lost it.
It happens. It
He put it
happens.
somewhere. Eric Dean.
Yeah, that was a Mexico trip. I'm
That
not
was
sure.
Mexico.
I'm not sure why.
I'm
I'm not sure why
sorry.
Christy
I sent
posted
that
that.
one too. It looked good. Oh, who is that? Who is that?
I think Chris and I shared the same jacket in our.
Yeah.
Tan. I think tan was very popular in Bobby.
Well,
had two.
that was our first prom, and that was actually in a castle in Marostica.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice hair.
That was
place was
so
so beautiful.
cool.
That's a good picture.
And then the following year, we couldn't go to prom. Well, we had the O Club because we bombed Libya, and they wouldn't let us off
Yeah.
the post. Yeah.
Oh, is that why?
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
why.
Yes.
I forgot.
So along with our graduation, not at Teatro Olimpico, and then the prom, it was just a bad spring.
So it's kind of like
You can-
2020.
Yes, you can like feel
Yes.
for 2020.
Exactly.
You guys kind of were in the same boat.
Yeah, that's actually true, and I had not thought of that.
Now this is Kelly, Cherie. I think that's me.
That's you.
It is,
It
Christy.
is.
That does not look like me.
It does.
Cherie, is that you?
Yeah.
I'm wearing the suit for some reason.
Okay.
Kelly's in red. Cherie is next to Kelly, then me. And who's that on the end?
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either.
I'm sorry.
All right, we're skipping.
Okay.
David Sage and Dina and me.
Dina was great on the podcast.
This was homecoming junior year.
Yeah.
All right. What's
Oh,
the,
And this, Christy, like mom would have to tell me what we were doing, but we were at an Italian orphanage. So I don't know if you can see, but it's me, you, Amy Gibson is next to me, and Claudia Van.
Next to me. Yeah.
It was like Christmas. See, there's Claudia, me, and then Amy.
Yeah, I see it.
And then that's me and Kelly. And I think that was the ski trip to Innsbruck, Austria, where you left me there alone all day. I had gone to the we don't know how to ski class, and Christy was supposed to. It was on a glacier, and Christy was supposed to have gone to the class. And I think Kelly must have done it with you. But y'all just went over. You went over the hill and left me doing the class, and I stayed there all day. And Christy doesn't remember this, but she got stuck at the bottom. Y'all got stuck at the bottom all day long, couldn't get back. You shared a breakfast bar out of your pocket that you had put in there, like, who knows, 3 days before.
We were not very good skiers. I think that was my only ski trip other than Innsbruck. I think
They had to send a rescue because no one knew you were stuck. You didn't come back, and the bus was about to leave to take us back home. And I was like, my sister is not here. And so, I don't know what we're going to do. And that's when we found out
That's
that you
Amy
were.
Gibson.
And that's Kathy and you.
Oh,
Good
Kathy.
picture. That's a good picture of us.
Very
I
good.
almost thought it was Michelle McKay for a second.
Yeah, it's Kathy, Summers, and Christy.
Nice.
And this, does anybody have this? This is mine.
I have it on my wall.
Okay, so mom said that there was a little shop that sold these. That's the Piazza in Vicenza, and we all got them. Like Claudia Van has one too. Like we all got them for high school graduation, and I still have it. I'm looking at it right now in the room that I'm in.
All right. I don't know these people, but
I don't
Just
either.
beautiful. I love that
don't either.
picture.
Good picture.
that's all that you gave me.
Those were good. We had such a good time going down memory lane, going through all of our boxes and just digging up pictures. And these podcasts have just been so great. Like, I have not seen as many as Cherie and Bobby. They have really been watching a lot of them. But like I said before, like, it just brings so many memories back.
Yeah, it's been that kind of it's been fun, you know. And I'm glad you guys came on. I think we've made the record for longest time, just for what
I think we have. I'm sorry. People are probably fast forwarding when we're done.
Chris
We
specifically
have
said,
to talk about
talking.
Chris specifically said, we are not talking for 2 hours.
It just
All
happened,
right.
Chris.
How'd that work out? Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. We had lots to say.
I could talk for 4 more. I mean,
I
listen.
No, and we can, but trying to wrap this up, like where we started half an hour ago. So Cherie, take a look at your list and see what you want to bring up. Whatever you got to find the gold out of the last. Chris, you seem to had some thoughts about things you wanted to remember or people you wanted to shout out at.
No, go ahead, Cherie.
No, Chris, you better go before her.
I don't know. There's tons of names out there. And Sean, I think you were talking about with the Goldstein brothers, like, you know where everyone is. And I just want to throw out 2 names. Like, I was going through the yearbook today, like Dion Parker. She worked, you and Cherie. Yeah. And then David Sage. Whatever happened to Sage?
Yes, where is he?
Never found out where he was.
I don't know.
Yeah. It's weird.
I don't know.
And Scott fell.
Yeah, Scott fell. Better pick him up.
He fell, and that's what happened.
And y'all, Chris, Frog. Where is Frog?
I called her when I was at Valdosta, and she was at LSU, and I spoke to her on the phone briefly. It was like my sophomore year, maybe.
That's, what's her name? Rapond? Right?
Lisa Rapond.
Lisa. I think I have her in my Facebook group of friends. So
she's in mine too, but I don't think she posts anything.
Well, reach out. Doesn't matter. Hit her up.
Yeah.
So those are 3 or 4 tricky names. Fine.
Yeah.
But Chris, didn't you go see Charles Donaldson?
Ran into Charles. I've seen Christy Rokas probably 10 times in the past. I saw her and Lisa Brown. We had dinner together over in London. Ran into Cindy Coley in a stairwell at the University of Florida.
Oh my God,
had Molly
weird.
Solomon on a flight a couple years ago. I'm so proud of her and what she's doing with her life.
Yeah.
Sheila Henderson came down to visit Michelle Henderson, her sister. Michelle lives here in Atlanta. And Sheila left after my freshman year, and she was really great.
Yeah.
I saw Claire Baker in London.
She's catching up on these. Claire is like.
I saw that. And she said something about Mr. Trula, and I wanted to say, he hated me. He did not like, chemistry was it was the worst subject I ever had in high school. And so I want to end on that.
I like to represent and also say though that he was the teacher for, I think it was called consumer finance, and best math class, applicable math skills.
Oh, that's good. Good.
I just never enjoyed the challenge of going further. Algebra was just like, I don't care about FOIL and moving the letters around and still doing minimal calculations.
Cherie's getting excited.
Real. Sorry, Cherie. I mean, you'd be calling me out for that. You'd be like, hey.
No.
I loved statistics, but if you applied it to sports, that you had my attention from start, and it was like, oh, okay, I get it. I've lived in the finance world for a million years, and all the scientific stuff and the technology stuff with big data and AI. I get it, but I did not care to get algebra. Geometry I loved, but
I hated that.
That's weird. That's weird.
Failed.
But consumer finance made sense, and to this day, I mean, literally, we just finished our refi yesterday. But by the way, that's the guest house that you guys get to stay in. There's no.
Okay, all right, I'm staying. Does it have a door?
Nice.
Yes, right there. It's got a slide and it's got stairs, and you got a little ship captain steering wheel.
Wow. Well, we definitely have to have a real in-person reunion one day. I don't know why. Bobby and I have never seemed to have been able to get there, but all of our kids are grown now, so we're free. We are free.
Come up and visit. Come up. Let's do that. But okay, but before we totally wrap up,
Okay.
Chris, we got you threw your names out. They were ringers, couldn't find them. Sorry.
No, it's okay.
Maybe they'll pop up now.
Yeah. Oh, I wanted to mention that I shared the Paul and John Radcliffe podcast with Molly, hoping she watches it at some point. What was for me a story that I had heard over time was that Paul was hyper competitive, and I give John a lot of that credit because John was his older brother pushing on him, just competing, and they were always competing. But they also ran a paper route for the Velocity.
Yeah.
So these guys were up at 4:00 in the morning, which to me is God's hour. I would never be up at that time. So they used to go running. So hence, cross country, guess who the leaders are there? Oh, amazing. Look at that. And then guess what? Molly Solomon, from what I heard, used to join them. Molly Solomon, great runner, cross country, etc. Track. And it was just like, things are starting to come together. Anyway, I remember that story. And my comment about the Paul and John Radcliffe podcast in particular here is that Paul makes a comment there. And if you get a sense, if you look at it for a moment, I see Paul missing that friend where they used to compete on a daily basis, not with each other, like faster dropping papers off, but that memory of working really hard at something and reaching out saying, how's she doing? So again, he's someone who's obviously been buried, and I'm sure it's family life, and his kids and stuff, but it's something that was really cute and poignant for me to see that he reached out. I said, I'd like to see what Molly's up to. But to me, I read the translation as, you miss an old friend that you had a great memory and working hard ethic and a great time sharing the same bond that all of us share about Vicenza. You put a lot into it, you got something out of it. So he might have tried to slyly just say, how about Molly Solomon as someone to bring on a podcast? I looked at that differently and I said, no, I know what you're saying there. So there you go.
She was the hardest. She was a hard worker in high school. And, if you know what she's doing now at the Golf Network, she's just, she's kicking ass.
I bet. And I love seeing Chris and what he's up to.
Yes.
Published in National Geographic to me is like an outstanding, amazing commentary, and what he's doing and what he believes in, the passions that he's sticking with. It's just, that family had such great rigor. Their younger sister, Katie, was the same age as I, and I got a bit of this from them in a sense, or more, because Katie, I thought, was like, the cutest girl ever. And this was 6th, 7th, 8th grade or something, 7th grade. And, to spend time with her, we would be in the library with the, Miss Nimi's library or something like that. But we were doing our homework, and that was it was fun. I loved it. But I had never had such rigor in my life doing homework. And it was just this great thing. And she played soccer, so a girl who played
good soccer player,
exciting to me, and so forth. But eventually I saw that was the whole family. The whole family was like that, and they're amazing people. And
shout out to their dad, who I guess he just passed 2 weeks ago or a week and a half ago. So.
Yeah.
Very sad.
If you have a chance, go on Chris's Facebook page and look for it. He wrote a wonderful piece.
I saw it.
About that. Phenomenal. Just
running.
Wonderful. And I'm not, I know in the point it takes a lot of guts to do that. And I share that just to say that I did the same in a certain way with my father before his passing. But what we did was we posted on Teddy's Vicenza website, and just saying that, hey guys, I'm it doesn't look good for me in this time and age in this game, and I'm probably not going to win, but it was fun and all that stuff. And anyway, the point about it was just that the outpourings, giving people a chance to kind of say, thank you, is just being gobbled up like crazy. And I'm seeing that happen on one of the other Vicenza Facebook pages, where I think I posted a picture of Mr. Pellerito holding a volleyball, and he's got this look. He's just, I'll post you guys on it so you can see it. But what's beautiful is in the last month or two, the oldest Pellerito, Rebecca, she saw it, she found it, she uncovered it, and she was like, that's my father. Like, that was her comment. And then all of a sudden, this onpouring of people chiming in, telling stories, people who are doing really well. There's 3 Del Rossos. I mean, they're much older than I in a sense, but I don't know. I mean, military, I think general or something. I don't have all these details, but I can tell you that they're sharing stories of what it was like in his classroom in the 6th grade and how they remember, breaking up sentences and, drawing them out and the things he used to share with them and inquire with him. And it was just like, oh, you see people pouring their lives out there. And it's a cherishing point about what we're doing here is just like, we have more to share and more to go back on. And yeah, I'll tell you where you've been, Bobby and Christy. You've been taking care of your family. You've been doing a great job of it. So thanks for sharing, and and the rest of us. So, but anyway, I don't know why I went off on this. You guys just gave me a moment there, and it just triggered.
It was pretty awesome.
Yeah.
I'm glad that you did.
Yeah, and Bobby, thank you for remembering all these things about the sports era. And Chris, I mean, I remember them when we're together, and we can piece them together, and then we come back to, oh yeah, those moments. Yeah. So
it's all we get better as we get older.
Yeah, the stories get better too. Yeah.
You guys won lots of championships, remember?
Yeah.
Except in soccer. But we came very close, as close as you can. But some people I like to see you reach out to is, Marcus Leonard, David Richmond,
yes,
Harold Everett,
Wolverton,
all those guys.
Yeah.
Those guys were good. Marcus Dickey,
Tim Buckman, where are you, Tim Buckman?
Tim and Mike Buckman.
Yeah,
they did great.
Yeah.
Hey, Ed Stevens, man, Stevens.
The McKays, Ed and Tom Stevens.
Where are you guys?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know where everyone's at. I agree with you. I mean, the ones I'm would be closer to, I see Marcus, the postings and such. And it's just like, I agree. I would love to have that group together. And I'd love to do it in this kind of smaller, intimate groupings, because you bring 10 people in and it's
hard.
Oh, yeah.
Like, you feel like I'm slighting people. I'm like, look, you can't, there's what, 5 of us here, and we're on 2.5 hours to 3, and we're still going.
Well, I mean, and I got my marching orders that I'm supposed to be quiet wolf or whatever.
Right.
Like,
No.
Bobby, did you tell your secret story that you were telling me that you weren't going to tell me?
Well, I want to tell one story just about and you always watch like these ESPN, like these feel good stories and stuff. And one thing I just wanted to share with Sean and Lenny is, Sean, I remember Billy McDonald.
Of course.
And Billy McDonald was just, he had a kid with Down syndrome, and your dad was just so great with him that he gave him, he was the last spot on the team. He went out, he practiced with us every day. He was my senior year, he was my shooting partner, because Billy could shoot 10 times better than I could shoot. And so your dad was always like, Billy, teach Bob what you got. But it was just great when we got in the game. Your dad would put Billy in the game, and everyone on the floor would pass him the ball, and he made several baskets, and like the crowd and the team, it was just unbelievable. And you see all these stories, and most people don't see that side of your dad. That and what Billy did, it was just great for us. And I always joke, is I think that's the only time I ever saw Mark and Dickey pass the ball, because we all want, it was probably the only assist that he got, because Mark would get the ball and go to the basket, but we all wanted to get Billy, be the one to assist the ball to Billy to see him shoot.
We did it against Naples.
Yeah.
Against Naples. I remember the crowd at home going, uproaring.
Right.
I mean, he traveled. Billy traveled, but Naples was like, man, that's cold or whatever. Kind of an awkwardness. Like, you can't full court press Billy or anything. And everybody in the whole place couldn't love more than to see him shoot.
Yeah.
I mean, he had a golden touch. He could.
And and he was such a good shooter. I think he probably shot like 100, at least like 95%. I think he had like 4 shots, and he scored 3 baskets that year.
And that was wonderful seeing his parents. I think his sister. They were just the opportunity that brought. And to your point, I mean, that goodness. My father always thought sports. There's always a place for you on the team. Track. Right. I mean, he was recruiting everybody from every walk of life, no matter what, big, tall, small, short, whatever, slow, fast, whatever. You had a place on the team. Yeah. And in basketball, the same thing. Everybody gets to play. There was no games where we kill teams by 100 points. This was, we're going to win, and then we're gonna try to get everybody in the game, and everybody's gonna get a chance to play, and we did. It was just one of those. I will share with you the Billy McDonald story that I'll never forget either. But
Chris and Cherie, do you remember Billy McDonald?
I do.
I actually do,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay, all right. I just want to make sure.
Oh, that's fair. It's a good point. Billy, was always a man of few words, and he would, it was one of those like end of the season gatherings where everybody would talk and say a few words about the games and everything. And
Right.
I think my dad gives Billy the mic, and Billy's like, I don't remember the exact story, but it's like, he says something like, Sean can't shoot.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's so wrong,
Yeah.
but so true.
Yeah. And Sean, I'm gonna share my screen real quick because I've got a picture of that.
Of what?
Of Billy McDonald
You do?
at that banquet. And I'm like,
Where?
Bobby's getting fancy with the share.
and this is your dad,
Oh.
and this is Billy at the mic. And Sean, the embarrassing thing was, I don't think he was talking about you not shooting. I think he was talking about how bad of a shooter I was. And maybe he was talking about both, but I think Billy was at the mic saying, I taught Bob how to shoot. And then I think it's because of the granny style free throws.
I love that.
But Billy would take the mic, and both your dad and Billy both like to talk. And I think that banquet was probably one of the longest banquets ever.
Yeah, no, and to your point, I mean, I love that part about my dad. It taught me a lot as a person, just the way he could be endearing to everybody.
Yeah.
Just amazing. And side story, Frankie Pont, somebody years older than us. I don't know if you guys saw this in the last year or so. We did this like who's who, like a quick gathering of people who've done really well. Not the only people who've done well, but just some high points for people. It was put in a publication, probably military, school type thing, but, and great for all the people that have done well and so forth. But, Frankie Ponce was somebody who wrote into the commentary and just said, hey, what you're missing here is, what about Coach Dempsey? What about someone who did this, all these things that he did, whatever. And it was just really nice to see. It wasn't like he was antagonizing. He was just sharing a poignant moment saying, yes, I get some people have done really well, whether they're, financially well or, ranking well or something. But he's like, what about the people that made a lot of these things come true for people? So it was really nice to see that. I don't really know him, but he's shared over the course of years, like commentaries about Coach Dempsey. And it was just kind of one of these things. I'm like, I'd like to talk to him just to see what has he got to say? Because he might have been around in that era that had the undefeated basketball.
Yeah.
Right.
Group, and this was way before us. I mean, they won like 5 years in a row undefeated. I mean, like,
Wow.
who does that?
Yeah.
Anyway, and now I'm continuing on, but so that was the secret special story, right?
That was a special story?
That was one of the special stories. Yeah.
Cherie, we're saving you for not for last necessarily, but what do you got?
What
Look
you
at that
got?
list.
Oh no. I'm
That's
good. I think we covered a lot of material on my agenda. I mean, we did, Bobby. I loved that story that you told about the very first time we ever saw you, but you haven't told it tonight. But
I'll share that story real fast. The very first time I ever saw Bobby was I was on the bus right outside of the Vicenza base, and Bobby's entire family, except for Mr. Walsh, was getting on the bus. So it was Mrs. Walsh and her 5 children. They all got on the bus, and I was with Joanna Clatu, I think is her last name. She goes by Joanna.
Jojo,
yes, Jojo Dennis. We were on the bus, and we see Mrs. Walsh, and we see Chrissy and Cindy and Becky and Eric, and Bobby is at the end. And so Bobby is holding a bag. I mean, I'm picturing like a Target bag, but it wasn't Target. A bag of Dr. Pepper. He's holding a bag of Dr. Pepper, and the bus door closes on his hand. and the bag of Dr. Pepper is hanging out the door
With my arm.
with his
So
arm.
is his hand.
arm. Okay, so we're watching all this, and Mrs. Walsh is like, "Oh my God! Oh my God! This is an Italian bus. Ain't nobody speak English. Oh my God! Oh my God! Like my son! And Bobby is mortified because A, his hand is hanging out of the bus door, and B, his mother is creating quite a ruckus. And so I don't think the bus stops.
No.
The bus,
Let's not.
the bus doesn't stop. But
no.
Joanna and I are laughing hysterically, and I'm thinking, what a complete dork this is. And here we are. How many years later? We're still together. I just wore his leather jacket tonight, and he was a dork.
And I did not drop the Pepsi.
He did not drop the Pepsi.
I held on to the next
Saved the
next
Pepsi.
stop.
Saved the Pepsi.
Or
I prefer being Dr. Pepper.
Dr.
It was
Pepper.
Dr. Pepper.
It was Dr. Pepper. I'm sorry. It was Dr. Pepper. But yeah, that was the first time I ever saw Bobby.
I think we were in Italy. I think that was our second day there. So
Yeah.
Nice.
it was pretty funny.
Well,
Yeah.
guys, I'm gonna bring us to a close because
I hate it.
I know
Darkness has fallen.
we will
Darkness is
come back.
falling.
And thank you for sharing so much and bringing so much to the table. I look forward to sharing this with everybody and obviously seeing more of you guys in the future.
It has been great. We have enjoyed it, and we love you guys. And this has just been really great.
I'm gonna stop the recording and we can wrap up on our own. We can talk
Okay.
real juicy details,
Okay.
real bad stuff.
Don't hang up, Chris. Don't hang up.
No.
All right. Take care, guys.